I've done this with you guys, but I more feel that it's been at least 2 or 3 months since I've done another paint night. And usually I do octopuses and oil paintings. So today I'll do some watercolor just because it's been a while. And I do love my birds, so we're going to do that. I'm
Awesome.
located out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I own Goldfang Gallery. It's in downtown in the Arts District down here, so it's a pretty cool spot. Um, I have a shop that's a art studio and also a tattoo shop. So we're all really arts minded or fine arts minded. But currently with COVID, we are appointment only and like to hide and just tattoo all day and then paint all day and then tattoo again and then paint again. So
Awesome.
pretty neat what we're coming out with. But everyone can contact me either through my website on goldfanggallery.com or through my email, which is reneelittletattoos.com, and or Instagram if you want to see my most current up-to-date shenanigans. I'm on there as Renee Little Tattoos as well. Normally, the Renee Little Tattoos can get you just about anywhere and find me.
Awesome. Hey, you don't have a
Yeah.
business card kicking around that you could throw on the camera view?
Oh yeah, we should, right? Here we go. You see this?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh,
Keep it
look at
up, put it in
that.
the corner somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
great.
Boop, that's me. Check it out. um, so yeah, everyone that wants to join us today, please log in. And Gabe will be my beautiful commentator and voicing to me any kind of comments or suggestions or questions. And he says positive, but I'm always very good into real critiquing. If anybody wants or has any real hard questions, or if I'm leaving anything out, please don't avoid. I'm pretty open with critiquing. Been doing this for a hot minute, so I know I don't know everything, but I feel like lately the world's been real crazy, and it's always fun to have a paint night. It's something that I truly enjoy, and I'm really glad that I get to do this. Especially this month. Woof. Um,
Yeah, getting off. I'm saying I'm like, oh, getting off Facebook and doing this stuff is amazing. As I'm like cruising through Facebook, making sure this is getting everywhere, and like, but I'm like I'm dodging it. Like Facebook's like, don't you want to argue with this person? I'm like, no. I mean, yes, but
no,
no.
I had to
Don't you?
actually just get off Facebook completely. Like I'll go on there, make sure like, clients aren't trying to contact us about anything too important. Make sure I don't have like a
Yeah.
cousin that's asking me a sincere question, and then I get off because Facebook, I think, has just turned into a giant, like village podium, and everyone is just hashing out their random crazy thoughts right now. Where I don't.
That's one of the reasons I really appreciate the reinventing community, because it's all about
Mhm.
art. And there's people that I want to fight on Facebook and they post up their art on reinventing. I'm like, you're the best. Keep it up.
Yes, and I mean, yeah, it's art can be so therapeutic, and it feels like I'm constantly struggling with social media and how it's set up to where it's almost like the defeating type feeling that I get when I'm on there because I'm trying to look for inspiration, trying to see, like, I like supporting my friends, and I know that every time I, reshare or explore, like my friends can see that, and that's keeping them driving and going and making art. But as
Mm-hmm.
far as like truly just trying to get to the nitty gritty and not just like appeasing, someone's vanity, it's like it's very hard to do that with the current situation,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the
so
algorithms aren't designed for it. Hey, so we do, well, speaking of algorithms and whatnot, though, Jamie in one of the Facebook chat rooms says, how are you? I hope to get a tattoo on my palm too. Do you have your palms tattooed?
no, I have no palm
No, no,
tattoos.
I've got my one here from Corey Ferguson here. He put it in maybe 2 or 3 times. For the most part, it stayed in the first time, but then he strengthened it up a little bit. Although it's kind of crazy because I definitely, after I got it, I saw a couple people try to hammer it out. You just need to make sure you go to somebody real good.
Really good.
And
Yeah.
Corey Ferguson is a legendary tattooer, second generation, maybe second generation tattooer. Yeah, he's great.
And that's in there.
It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there. You got to really slow it down and hammer it in.
Yep.
I would like to have my palms tattooed, but I don't have. It's really hard for me to just take time off of work and with tattooing. Like even when I
Sure.
got the top of my hand done, I did it on a
Oh, that's
trip,
cool.
so I had plenty of time. Yeah, I went to Scotland for this beast.
Fuck
Daniel
yeah.
Visquazi
Uh-huh.
did this, and he is amazing. But I had the whole opportunity to heal it because your hand gets to the size of a glove, and everyone's, it's like very in Edinburgh, everything's really touristy. So I was just like waving to everyone the whole trip, like, oh hi, hi. It was pretty good. But no, in December I'm gonna get my other one done, and I'm just thinking about like how am I gonna heal this thing? You
Mm.
need to really take time to be able to heal, especially a palm, I imagine. But,
Yeah, every time you try to put your hand in your pocket, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, digging through a purse. Brutal.
Oh, yeah, no good.
Brutal.
But I do have a couple topics here. Or I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about your process of what you're working on a little bit, or if at any given time you're looking for a question.
Okay, yeah. I figured I'd start off, and then we can kind of jam around a little bit, hang out a little bit. I'd like that. So if anyone's watching this and not really familiar with watercolors, I do mine just a little bit differently. Well, every artist does a painting differently, and it's just about the end product and what you want to get. If anyone, my portfolio is online on my Instagram and my website. It has all my bird painting on there, and I have a particular thing that I do. And if you look at there and you like what you see, then this is kind of how I approach it. First, I always mat things down with some good painter's tape. If I use regular tape, it'll tear your paper. So get some nice painter's tape. Paper, I'm just using a Canson cold press. And I really like the durability and the thickness to this. You can really work with it. Sometimes if you get cheaper papers, they're either thinner or the quality, like the materials that they're made of, aren't as absorbent. So you'll just keep kind of messing with the paper, and it'll, like tattooing, it'll just become like, it'll just be ground up. It'll be, smushed by the time you're done. So you watercolor, or with watercolor, you do have to be pretty decisive. But at least like the better paper you get, the more play you have. So that's always my key advice with watercolor. And I just buy a huge pack of it, and it lasts me for a year, and I cut up my pages to size. Then just to make sure, and I do this in my travel book too. I have a little moleskin book that I've carried around for years, and it's filled with landscapes that of every place I ever go to. I make
cool.
a landscape. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I think like 4 people in total have seen these things too. Yeah, no one looks at them. It'll be like my Freudian papers I'll find when I die. So with that, even I always do like a sketch of everything, like real light. And I love mechanical pencils for watercolor, particularly just because they're so tight. The lead doesn't get all over I carry everything in one little case, as you can see here. And the lead doesn't get all over everything. And then I just know always, I'm on the field and I don't have to sharpen anything. And that's like a quick on the field type trick. Because I started doing this for biology in college. So
Nice.
I've learned how to pick up and go and whip out my quick book and like do a study of a plant or do a study of an animal or do something like that. So that's how I've kind of adapted this branch of doing watercolors. And I think I have basically a rough idea out. And I'm going to do like a little English robin, hold a little bug in his mouth. That's cool. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be doing something. It's got to have a story. So it's like, this one just ate something, and now it's the quiet before the bug step.
Not a good time to beat a bug.
Oh, yes. I think I've just gotten more morbid this last couple of months of being a hermit. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone out there has been feeling it, this is the thing to watch. because this is what happens when someone comes outside of their cave right now. This is what this is, Gabe.
Nice. I'm going to fire up. I've got one of your bird tattoos here.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
The back piece here looks like might be in progress, but it's a pretty beautiful parrot there.
Oh, yeah. That one's almost done, actually. I'm pretty excited about that.
It looks like it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, we've gotten the whole top half done, and now she had a little tiny surgery, so we held off from doing from lower back down.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit more completed than that. Like the whole top is done now. So I need
cool. Awesome. How about how many sessions? Any idea how many hours or?
I think right now we're on like 50 hours.
Bam.
Something like that. Something. It goes by a lot faster than actually that piece is going a lot by faster than typical for full color. She sits really, really well. She's one of my people that just go to sleep. After working like a whole shift, she just kind of comes in and plops down.
So crazy.
So nice. Yeah.
I did fall asleep once.
Yeah. I've dozed off for sure. I think it's possible.
It's freaky waking up and whoa. It's still here. Actually, there was twice. Yeah. There was twice. There was once when I was getting my leg tattooed, and then there was once when I was getting my arm tattooed. And when I was getting my arm tattooed, it was because I had been awake for like too long. I flew in from Europe, and then I like took a crazy car ride, and I think I fell asleep for a good hour, like just out. Because I know I did because I was thinking at like 11 o'clock at night, there's no way I'm going to keep going. And guy's like a machine, and I wasn't going to say no. And then all of a sudden it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, where did the last like hour go? It just like
you just went by. You are done.
I remember at one point I was like, oh man, I hope that, I know that no one's ever died getting tattooed. But what if you go into shock and then but you're asleep and you're getting tattooed? Like, well. But no, that was.
That's why shock happens. It just keeps you alive.
Yeah, right.
long enough to get help. It gets you to that glass of orange juice just long enough.
Oh, here I've got your website fired up here too. I'm gonna
okay, cool.
Show off some more birds.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I've only dozed off like a little bit, but I have some people. They get to that point where they're just like, I'm gonna take a nap, and I'm like, okay, I got you. Cool.
This is pretty amazing peacock here.
Ooh, thank you. I do love my peacocks.
Is this on the somebody that's getting a back piece too, or?
Oh, it just goes on to her.
It just goes on the shoulder.
Yeah, pretty. It goes under her back pretty big.
Well, hopefully she'll get the rest of the back piece at some point.
Oh, I know. I just finished. One client came in the other day, and I saw him like walking up my through my bay doors or my bay windows, and I'm just looking at him like, man, dude, he came in. I'm like, you look sleep as shit. And because we had just finished like both of his sleeves, and I just haven't like taken it fully in. Like, oh wow, like you are done, and then we're starting his back now, so I'm pretty excited about that. And he's just going to be full. Yeah.
Eventually they'll all right. Melissa Sink says, hello all, stunning work.
Ooh,
yeah. Do you know Melissa?
I think so.
Yeah, she's like a reinventing regular, and
yeah.
Also on the fireside.
Oh yeah, I probably listened in and creeped out, just been a creeper. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Lurker.
A lurker. Yeah, that's better than creeper. I'm a good lurker. So what I'm doing now is doing some color, laying it down. I was thinking, like, should there be another, like, I could never be Bob Ross, but is anyone missing a little gentle voice? I could do that.
Yeah, you could.
I could totally go like Wisconsin Mom, or just a nice gentle voice. Mm-hmm.
We had Inglorious Hoku. Do you know that guy at all?
No.
He does a lot of like ZBrush, and he was on with Adrian Dominic.
Oh, yes, yes.
yesterday. Oh, wait, we got a comment here for you here. Nikki Fairbrother says, good idea. So annoying, sharpening all the time.
Oh, yes. So annoying. Well, I mean, when you're out there, right? Like that's the funnest part about field biology is like you're out there and you gotta make it work with the elements. And I've been reminiscing a lot about college since COVID because I'm like, "Ooh, maybe I want to go back." But
Mm,
you really, I mean, it could be raining, it could be really, really it could be sweltering. You could have like already some specimens on your person, and you're just trying to deal with a freaking pencil sharpener and an eraser and all the things. You just pack as light as you possibly can.
I
And
said,
yeah, I've
oh,
literally had to make a pack that like zip everything up in a Ziploc bag because I knew it was going to be some bad weather during my hike. So less is more.
yeah, yep, sure. Hey, I've got a phone call coming in here that I should probably catch. So let me bow
Oh
out. I'll be
yeah.
right back. Cheers.
Okay. Cheers.
Billy says, awesome work, and current piece is looking awesome too.
Oh, thanks. 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 Yeah, I'll talk about here what I'm doing in this gentle voice. Um, I'm a little lagged on the YouTube, so I'll try to figure out where I'm at on that. So what I'm doing with watercolor is you're basically conditioning your paper the whole time to how you're going to lay down the ink, or I mean the pigment. If I'm going to be wanting a really strong, dense color, like real vibrant and rich, then I can just like water up my pigment and then put it straight down on clean piece of paper. And I'll show you here, take this example. And I'll just like, it's a little bit more rich. It's a little bit more straight. It's a little bit more crispy as well. But if I want to have a nice blend throughout my whole piece or control the texture, and that's once you learn all these different ways you can how to lay it down, then you can control the texture from there. So, or if I want to have like a varied spot, I'll literally just make my paper super wet and then I'll have like a line. I'll choose a line, I'll choose a border edge, and then I can kind of go in and you can see how it kind of like buffs up a little bit, but it's still wet. So that means I can get off my brush a little bit and then blend that out. Where this is a little harder, you can see that edge a little bit more strong. It's a little bit more rich with pigment, and then you're just diluting and massaging. And that's why I do think of watercolor a little bit more like I'm massaging the watercolor pigment into the paper than just doing a big slashy whippies. I build kind of like I do oil painting. But I do like it because it is quick and I like the idea that you guys will actually see like a finished product where usually the octopuses take so many layers. I'll never be done with certain paintings. So watercolors are a nice thing to pick up if you are an oil painter and you've never touched them before. They're a nice thing to pick up when you're just feeling like you can't finish anything. One. Two, they are really good for studies. Like I mentioned before, like I do a lot of plant life and I do a lot of natural textures. Like that's what kind of my interests are in. If you have similar interests, you can take walkabouts and bring a little book around, a little watercolor book, and be able to just like take some quick studies of color, of lighting, of shape, and you're not having to worry about, your tubes of acrylic drying out. You don't have to worry about your tubes of oil because as you can see here with my palette here, I've had this I've had this one for about a year and a half now, 2 years now. I switched over because I did carry this one palette around for so long, the plastic started cracking. That's how well, I think I've had it since high school. But I think I remember I went to this last health city that was open before COVID. It was so hot that I think that was like one of the final uses of it. It was just, it, yeah, it was just too much. But I like this one. It's just like a normal like painter's case or calligraphy pen case that I've turned into a watercolor palette. So it holds all my brushes, it holds everything I need. And you can go anywhere and take nice studies of things. And I don't know, I'm loose with watercolors. I know a lot of people that are a little intimidated of them, but to me, they're not like I was intimidated coming on today, but this is not intimidating to me. This is fun. This is like, let's make some droplets and smush some colors around and make some happy little, I don't know, happy little bugs being eaten by birds.
The bugs aren't very happy.
No, bugs aren't happy. Well, some bugs are happy.
No,
I'm
no,
pretty
they're
sure
not the
some-
ones. Not the ones that are getting eaten by birds.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like a little mayfly because I love them.
Awesome.
Mayflies are pretty cool. Everything all right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that was great. That was Kyle. We're just about to wrap up some of our promotional dots to connect. Oh, that looks cool. I haven't seen. I didn't. I'm just tuning back in.
Thanks. Yeah, I was talking about. I was trying to think of like happy little bugs.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, I was talking
I
about the
did.
Glorious Hoku. Oh, you know what? Because I used one of your clips on the Tattoo Weekly yesterday, because you were talking about the Oculus, and
Oh, yes, yeah.
did you pick one up? Did you end up getting any more movement in that neck of the art? Or?
Yeah, no, I have the Oculus. I've been painting. We're all artists here. I've been painting my DMT trip inside the 3D drawing app.
Oh, amazing.
Oh yeah, and because I've been trying to paint it, and it's this one proportional issue with it. So I've been able to get inside, my little 12 by 12 square or box, my cube, and try to get the proportions right and kind of fine tune it so that I can just screenshot it. And then at least I have my grid already kind of laid out a little bit. And then I'll just have to clean it up because the proportions are definitely hard. And I'm no
Sure.
Alex Gray.
Some of the stuff that he's got is so precise.
Oh, it's so precise. It makes my Aries heart hurt.
You must have seen it in person at some point.
Yeah.
Some of those pieces, yeah.
Oh my God. Like I was just like, I don't want to give up, but do I say I just want to give up? I can't do this. But we all have our own personal standards. So I'm just gonna slowly peck at it and it'll be fine.
We're all on different edges of the spectrum.
Yes, exactly.
Some people could, like, I don't know, like some of those lines that are like, I don't know, they must be like 5 feet long or 6 feet long, and there's like 100 of them or something, and they're like all like in perfect
parallel uniformity. Yeah, and I dabble in bio. I wish I could do it more, but my clientele has me do flowers and stuff, but there's these swooping patterns that I just don't understand. Like the level of intricacy to like the mathematics are just so perfect that, yeah, I'm definitely not going to try to be him. But what I saw is very, close to that kind of problem solving of like dimension and form. And so the 3D drawing in the Oculus is amazing for that. Like I'm actually having a lot of fun in it. It's a good like getaway. And also there's lots of just like visual walkthroughs that are like for sensory, like I don't know, if you're having anxiety, put the headphones on for like 15 minutes,
and it's like headphones and visuals too, or
yes. Oh yeah. You can hear, see everything. You just basically sit in a chair and go through this experience. And it's beautiful. And they're getting really good too, where you don't have to use the controllers necessarily, like you can use your hands.
Oh no shit.
So, yeah. So my friend called me and he was like, had me download this kid game. But he's like, just wait, you're gonna love this. And so he has videos of me like getting to the point where your hands become octopus tentacles.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it, of course. I was like, wow.
Because as it's figuring out how your hands are moving and whatnot, it'll technology is just out of control.
It's out of control. It's absolutely out of control. But I would love to have like a bigger project with some people. Maybe that could be even like a paradise thing. Like, hey, if you have Oculus, come bring it.
That's more likely to have. I mean, certainly we can, set up an Oculus station. I think that the other main fellow I know is not coming Jordan Ruckus. I think we talked about him last time. He's kind of into
Mm-hmm.
that. But certainly for the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo, the event that's happening in July near Chicago, we could definitely set up like an Oculus setup there
That would be cool.
and attract people.
Right.
Well, and you should check out this thing that they did yesterday with it was Guy, Glorious Hoku, and Adrian Dominic,
Mm-hmm.
and they were in ZBrush, the new version of ZBrush.
Oh, okay.
And like, you know, the just the interfaces are going, like, they're so much easier to use these days. It's like we used to have to be half programmer to make 3D stuff, and now it's you know, it's like molding, you know, virtual clay. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I saw a quick preview of that, and oh my gosh. Yeah, like, and with 3D printers that are being linked up to it, like we can now just really, if we can think it, we can make it, you know? And I think that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah. Let me I'm
Yeah.
gonna fire up some of this was going on yesterday as like a preview for people.
Oh yeah.
Or not as a preview, as like a teaser or whatever. Let's see, let me get to a good spot. Oh yeah, you're gonna dig this. Oh, this shit's great. I fell asleep during some of it, but I mean, I can only experience so much. Like, this reinventing just doesn't fucking stop.
Yeah. No, you guys have grown so since I've been on my break, you know, my world break, you guys have grown so much. Like, I've been paying attention even though I've been ignoring everything. And yeah, you guys have just like grown and grown and grown with, I mean, it's good that you guys have kept up, because like everything keeps growing out there in technology. Like, I think that's just like COVID in itself. Like, technology has just skyrocketed, you know.
Well, it was also kind of weird because we reset, right? Or so it was like we just joined, you know, like Reinventing is 25 years old, but we just got the YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the community has been very interactive. You know, through the years, guys had, you know, the old chat room was jamming for years, and but, you know, but as it moved around and the technology's changed, you know, and then everyone got on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the, you know, the forums kind of you know, weren't their center of gravity for a while. But then now, you know, not only did we catch up with the technology and, you know, without the tattoo shops, like I could focus on Reinventing, and it was like, wait, we could like get back to the top, you know, tier technologies that we could be on, and get that community back. Right. So it's so strange, because it's like, there's this mix of like people that have been following Guy and been part of Reinventing for nearly 20 years or more, mixed with this last year's worth of, you know, new people and more apprentices that are coming on, and that's great though. Well, here, let me fire up. This is a stream that we did yesterday. Inglorious Hoku, Adrian Dominic, and Guy Aitchison are demoing ZBrush, and I'm not going to hijack your show for too long, but it'll be good for people to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, can you hear the sound? I think I don't have the sound on.
No, not yet.
Can you hear that? Can you hear it now?
No. No.
You can't hear him. Let me. I need to screen share in a better way, or not in a better way. I need to click the button that says share sound and optimize for clip when I'm doing such a thing.
Technology. Ah, that's so cool.
Dynamesh,
Yeah, the bio.
It works like the inflate brush, where it distorts the mesh quite a lot.
Yeah, if you bear down on it and it starts to build up, it definitely it gives it warts. But you know, sometimes that's exactly what you want.
I'm using this brush called the pinch brush, and it kind of makes,
you know, it's not just enough for it to look cool. You have to be able to really understand the shapes, and you know, at least enough to be able to, you know, translate it onto skin. And so there's a certain clarity. You want the lighting and the volume and all that stuff to be fairly unambiguous.
Yeah, just
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of definitely needs to be readable, and that's kind of a bit of a problem that I had when I first started out doing digital sculpture for tattoos. Was I
so
was
they did
making things that
collabs, and
right,
they
right,
emailed the
and maybe
file
just
around to each
contained a bit
other,
too much
and so they had the three different things here. I'll show you a little bit of the last one,
God, that's
and
cool.
do something.
So crazy.
I mean, I started out by literally following guys like instructions of building out of shells and foams with clay and
Oh
lighting and
yeah,
everything. This just takes away. That just takes it away.
that's crazy. All the sculptures that he was creating, and
Yeah.
uh,
And I was even at that, I felt like a failure, but here it is. You can just build it. It's so
look at
cool.
this with all three of them. So after all three of them worked on this for 2 hours. Anyways, sorry, I didn't, like I said, I was just happy that as I was looking for clips, I was like, oh wait, Renee was talking about 3D sculpting in Oculus, but it's great. So maybe do you want to talk a little bit about the difference in mediums? Because obviously, like 3D sculpting and that's completely different than this watercolor real world kind of I mean, I guess watercolors. I mean, I guess you can't call it an ancient art, but it's got to have been one of the first ways people were painting.
Yeah, I mean, they figured out how to solidify pigments and then dilute them with water and then smush it around with some nice horsehair brushes, beaver hair brushes. And I mean, I think it's kind of like, yeah, it's about reference. It's about how we build. It's about how we make compositions. Everything is a tool in art. And I think, I mean, yeah, you have watercolor and it takes patience and it takes a step-by-step way to go about it. But once you know those rules, then you can break them. And I think it's the same thing with 3D art. May it be I'm putting together shells and weird things I find outside with clay and having it dry overnight and then wake up and then figure out how to light it and figure out how to paint it and figure out all these things. To then just being able to build it slowly on a digital medium. I think now we're making things more difficult to simplify them, because now you don't have to like wait for things to dry. You don't have to wait. Like there's Procreate brushes now for watercolor that are amazing, and it's really, I look at and like what you said, there is all these older folk that have always followed Guy and followed reinventing, and now all these younger kids are coming in. That's a good statement to make, because there's all these really cool things that are coming out digitally now, but yet you still have people like me who are like, oh, I don't even think about getting out my iPad. I think about getting out my old watercolor pad and what brushes I'm going to use. And I like to, I do this. I literally will nervously fiddle with my brushes for 20 minutes before I start oh yeah, this one's good. And since I can't do that with a Procreate, I just don't think about it, but this young generation is coming in and that's their norm. So I think even we'll learn, they can teach us, I think, really what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. But
and that's where, sorry.
Oh no, but I think it's very important to still know like kind of what they were saying in the preview, even why you're making those shapes and why you're doing those things. I think is really important to still know the fundamentals of where things came from, because digital stuff is just scary sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was I dabbled with 3D modeling and art in late 90s. And, like I was saying, you had to be a half computer programmer to be able to create it, which was great because I am a computer programmer.
Right.
But what I, learned is that, while I might be able to create some really awesome shapes and images and whatnot, the kids there that had been drawing since they were, 5, they knew how to make the textures for all that shit, right? They knew, the right color combinations, and I'm, colorblind, and, I tried or color deficient, excuse me, and it just wasn't my, where I was going to be ending up naturally. So I figured I'd leave the 3D art to the actual artists And these days, which is crazy because, well, you know, for the most part, the 3D artists are still pretty geeky. But,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean,
comes with the
just a little
territory.
geeky. Yeah, comes with, yeah, I'm like, well, I mean, well, you have to know, I feel like there's so much knowledge that you have to have before, say, you do start a painting. You know, like I can quickly teach someone a rundown of and just tell them what to get and tell them, you know, this is gonna do this when you do it, but I never really go into the why necessarily unless someone asks, because there's, you know, there's just so much information that sometimes someone just wants to make an image, you know. And you have to be a little nerdy to want to stone ground your raw pigments and then mix them yourselves, and then, you know,
Sure.
go into maybe I'm going to start making my own paper, you know. Like
Uh-huh.
really, so you have full control, you
Who
know.
is Jay Brown? Do you know Jay Brown from one of the tattoo museums? I think he's out in shit. I hate doing this. I hate. It's funny being on video while we're doing all these things. But the point is, Jay Brown on Facebook. One of the tattoo museums, Jay Brown Tattoo Museum Facebook. You can find him. He has like raw pigment. He's got some actual raw. He's got like pigment that he's like, I got some raw pigments. He's going to divvy up for people to make their own you know, tattoo inks with.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah, it's pretty fun. But hey, so okay, so here's a one of these questions that we have to make supercuts for. What advice do you have for? I don't know. Well, I have two questions. One is, what's the appropriate term for apprentice wannabes? And then the second question is, what advice do you have for them in this day and age? I mean, and maybe you just did, which is like get your hands dirty and do some tactile shit. But
Actually, I just had a 17-year-old come to me and ask me about that. And I will be mentoring her in the art world first. Because after talking with her quite a bit, you know, I sent her home with a list, or homework assignments, as I call them, because, you know, she was quite young. So there's always things that younger people, I know that, you know, older people are like, oh, you'll understand when you're older, you'll understand when you're older. I don't like to do that. I like to say there's lots of things that you don't understand until you get older. And you kind of have to like make sure that you stay, you know, ask questions, of course, be verbal, put yourself out there. But if someone's trying to tell you something, make sure you're listening. One. Two, make sure you know what you want. And I call them young Padawans. I call them young, like they're supposed to be studying underneath us to take our place. You know, they're supposed to either help us along with our craft and then learning, you know, while they're doing that. But I think that there's a lot of ideas with kids coming out of school, like fresh out of school, especially now we're dealing with like even younger people. We're getting older, Gabe. So I'm like, I'm realizing, oh, wow, I'm old now. I'm like considered to be kind of an old person. This is funny.
You know, when I was when I was dropping my daughter off at college, I was thinking to myself, God damn, I'm at the point where I could see a motherfucker with gray hair and not even think they look old.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, no, gray hair like equates to old.
Right. But I'm like, pretty sure I'm still like 25 in my head.
See, I'm definitely not of that ilk. You know, but I got the fucking shit beat out of me a couple times, so like I definitely don't feel 25 anymore. I feel
no, my body feels like it's 90, but
well,
my brain
I'm thinking even mentally too. Just yeah, no, I'm feeling my 46 fucking in my brain too. But you know, I think that it's you know, the human experience is designed, you know, to change, right? So for me, I remember and not that I'm taking what you said this way. This is a riff that I have. You just knocked me into my motor pattern, so don't take it personally. But you know, there's a really awesome. I wish. Oh shit! You know what? I'm gonna fire it up here. It's basically a wheel of life, And it maps out really awesome the different phases of life, as well, and more importantly, the different like centers of gravity and the different purposes, right? Like when you're an infant, you know, your goal is to like come online and kind of experience the world. You know, you're really just kind of, you know, you're really just figuring out what information is coming in through your senses and trying to predict what, you know, what's going to come next. You know, ideally, you know, food, you know, and warmth, right? You know, but then, you know, when you're a teenager, for instance, the center of gravity is, you know, whatever, being cool. And so like social activity, not even being cool, it's social dilemmas, right? So even the outsiders are really in tune with social dynamics. That's why they want to be on the fucking outside. Fuck all those people that are on the inside of it. Let me find it. It's so awesome. And it's like, and then it goes into early adulthood, middle adulthood, and then, you know, like elderhood, you know, and I was like, and it became real clear to me. I'm like, you know, if, and I also know plenty of tattooers that are stuck in their teenage years. Being, you know, being 10 years younger is just no problems. When you're stuck in your teenage years and you're a fucking 35-year-old person that makes $1,000 a day, that's all of a sudden I'm like, wait, that's it. I mean, so I felt really, I'm like, I finally found this thing that explains what's going on, but really they just didn't fucking grow up. You know?
Right, they didn't grow up, right?
You know, but
well, and that too, after mentoring some older, like, well, some young 20-year-olds, I realized like the growing up, that what you're talking about has probably changed a little bit, because 25-year-olds nowadays like don't know how to tie their own shoes sometimes. And
yeah, you know, but they also have access
oh.
at the same time. They have access to like every fucking TED Talk and, you know, Harvard, you know, Harvard fucking class that they could possibly want, right?
Oh, so yeah, but they don't care. Well, some of them do, and they're going to be exceptional, and they're going to be wonderful and save this planet, hopefully. But yeah, I think, but there's just like when I was 25, I was, you know, a military wife, navigating across the country, handling all my dude shit. And, you know, I was tattooing and running that business. And like, you know, I had my shit together.
Sure.
And now, I mean, I just feel like now I've just remained the same, like, soul of my, I guess, my 25 years without as many panic attacks as I had when I was 25.
Sure. Well,
yeah,
you know, being the one of the fundamentals of some of the businessy, you know, philosophies, you know, when they're mapping out success, like the core value, you know, your mission and core values, you know, don't really change. I mean, they evolve. You know, your core mission, or they could change, I suppose. But the some of the strongest success stories, right? You know, your what you're trying to, the more you define your mission and your values and the way that you're doing things and what you're actually trying to do, then the more you can adapt, you know, to the environment as it's, you know, rapidly changing. Right. And so, yeah, so there's certainly certain aspects of my personality that have not changed, you know, and, you know, and some of them have gotten, you know, tempered in my 20s. But on the other hand, you know, I am definitely way, you know, I got, like I said, I got a lot of hard lessons really beat into me pretty hard. So I'm definitely, hopefully I'm way smarter.
You're way smarter now. Yeah. And that's it. It hurts whenever you learn something. And that's when you know you're learning, if it actually hurts you a little bit. And that makes you grow into a wiser person, you know, and it's just adaptation. You know, I think of everybody like a plant. You know, if you don't get the best light, you got to figure out how to get that light, you know, so you got to start, screw those leaves that were getting all the light, send those leaves that, you know, you got to survive.
There's a lot that is analogous between growing plants and farms. Like that stuff is like a tangible version of, you know, those effects.
Oh, and you know me, I have plenty of analogies. I love the
Right.
analogies.
Now I'm looking at all of my seminars, trying to find this fucking.
Yeah, I want to see what you're talking about. I want to see where
Yeah.
I'm at. Where am I at?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, you can also use it for businesses. Oh my God, I found it.
Oh yeah, let me see it. Because recently I was told that women my age are totally allowed to lie about our age because we're old enough to where it's awkward, but then we're young enough to where it's still awkward. So we just have to tell the people something.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I have no. Like I said, for me, frankly, age is a sign of success. Like I said, these days I see fucking people that are gray haired, and I don't even consider that old.
Mhm.
But
Well,
okay, so
I
how am I
found out that
supposed
I
to
do
do this?
look. Oh yeah, I do. It's always problematic if you look young, and even though you're not, I've always gotten that, especially with the last name of Little. Everyone kind of
Uh-huh.
shakes my hand for the first time and go, "I don't get it. You're kind of medium sized." I'm like, "It is a strong English name, fucker." And they think
Right.
I'm being cute. Yeah, everyone thinks I'm trying to be cute. I'm like, no, I just look this way, and that is my last name for crying out loud.
Rough. Right. Okay, so
Rough.
let's see. I'm
Yeah.
gonna let's see. I guess I'm just trying to. People are gonna see my wrong screen for a while. This is my messy dashboard. That's
It
probably
is messy.
all my messages too. Hopefully, no one yells at
That
me
is
while
a
I'm doing
dashboard
this.
of someone that uses a computer.
You know what happened is I read somewhere that, and I don't want to actually perpetuate this, but instead of having like all these organized folders that make a lot of sense, like a filing cabinet and everything, there was a computer geek and they were just like, fuck it, search, just use the search feature and just make sure that whatever you name your file has an intelligent name and you can save it wherever the fuck you want to. Just use your find feature. And I would say that while that is true, and I live that, it's very disorganized because, like I said, okay. So anyway, so can you see this?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
So on let's see, like whatever it is, at 3:00, you see there's a stage 1, early childhood, the innocent in the nest. The task is ego formation and the care of innocence, and the gift is luminous presence. Center of gravity is spirit. That really is where my wife spends most of her time. Kim teaches infants. So that's where she's spending her time, right? So what were you talking about? You were talking about your 20s, right? So 20s is probably stage 4, late adolescence. Maybe you could
Oh,
consider
leaving
that.
home. No, I did that I was 16.
Yeah. Well, I left home early
So
too.
Mystery and Darkness. Oh yeah, that was definitely 16. So let's see what stage 5. Early adulthood, learning to discover system body and culture. Did that. Late adulthood. I was in the as manifesting and delivery systems for soul work. Did that. Mastery. Okay. Task caring for the soul of the more human community. Oh, that one's hard. Stage 7. That's hard. Not there yet. I consider myself midlife right now because I'm taking a look at my family history and we just did the ancestry.com.
Oh yeah.
So I'm actually midlife.
Oh.
It's my joke to myself. That's kind of true, I think. Hopefully not. Let's cross our fingers that,
The thing is, we know that the bad news is coming.
Bad news is coming.
It's just a matter of when and how long it takes. I mean, hopefully the bad news is coming because I don't know. So there's obviously the 2 ways to go. One is lights out, or one is the long, drawn out fucking drama
drama. Yeah, I don't want that. I think one of my friends, it was actually Takashi and Matsumura. He's out of Brooklyn, and we've known each other for a really long time. And I remember he like drunkenly asked me once, "Where do you want to die?" And I just immediately said, "Antarctica, penguin suicide." And he was like, "Wow, most Americans don't have an answer." And I'm like, "Oh no, I've literally thought about this since I was a child, right?" And not to sound morbid, I mean, my family is morbid as fuck. We're Romanian, but I've known that I've wanted to die there since I was 9. I don't know.
in Antarctica. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I've saved up money. So in case I get like terminal cancer, I'm just gonna go down there and
nice.
cool.
I'm all
Die with
for
respect.
it's not very Asian, but I'm all for the life extension. You could freeze me. I'm down for the cryogenics. I'm
Really?
like, daughter, you freeze me. I'm
I
down
don't
with
want,
that.
no,
Yeah,
no, I'm done.
but
If I'm done, I'm done. Yeah.
I mean, I do live every day. I try to do my best to live every day. Like if the bad news came tomorrow, I wouldn't think to myself, "What the fuck were you doing yesterday?" Um, but
That is hard.
but that said, I do also. Well, I'm also very simple to please, so that's okay. You know, like I could like walk around my town 2 times a day with a little weed and be like, okay, I lived a fucking really awesome day today. You know,
Yeah.
but you know, that's mixed with you know doing stuff like this and helping you know amazing artists connect with people and clients all around the world.
Right.
You
No,
know,
you've definitely touched like a community, Gabe. And I think that for me, that's a sign of living well, is that you've been able to share your life with others and maybe by influencing them, help them live a more joyful life, and that's,
or at least
I mean,
what
that's,
do
yeah.
sometimes I joke. I'll leave a lasting impression. You know, you whether love me or hate me. I'm leaving an impression.
Right. No, I mean, that's what I try to do. And to be honest, like even doing paint nights within my own community here, it's really difficult because the community is very offset. It's not very like open,
I
with
do.
COVID, number one. And then it's a very small town kind of feel in a big city. So there are some painters, but everyone is just kind of like very, very, they like to just stay in their own cave. And then the tattooers are all, some of them are still doing, turf wars. So
Yeah.
you just leave them alone. We're like, have fun, guys. I don't want to.
Turf war. No one's ever going to know that I'm going to get involved in the next turf war. My next shop will be, or not my next shop, the next shop that I might possibly partner with will be like in the middle of nowhere with like no social media.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, my shop is doing really well, and I'm like I don't need to do social media necessarily, but yet that is still there, and that is still part of my responsibilities. Um, and I'm
After
also,
your search engine responsibilities, first update your website, and you have a nice website. You know, everything's pretty
thank
clear.
you.
Keep your Google business listing
Yeah, yep,
going
yep. Then the
to,
Facebook and the messages. So yeah,
and
Facebook and
then the
Instagram right
Facebook,
now.
and then
And
Instagram.
then Instagram, and then the Google reviews. You got to make sure you respond to those. Then you have your own personal emails after working on the website emails. And then, and I by the end of the day, like my poor clients, thank God, I mean, my books have been closed for a hot second now, but there's always that random person that's like, I've been trying to get a hold of you. And I'm like, oh, sorry. It took me, I only have like an hour a day to check my email. So yeah, I'm kind of over it, but that's what it is. You got to do it.
Yeah, I'm working more with some with more softwares to help facilitate communications, and I'm using it for tattoo now, like primarily. So I'm I have a little, now that reinventing's kind of getting technically squared away. I'm able to work on like clients and my own on tattoo now, like the old website again, and I'm using some of these new tools. They're amazing. Like some of this client relationship management tools, the CRM tools. People like, I don't know, they keep, like for instance, on the lower right hand corner of tattoo now, there's like a little chat bubble, and people put in their cell phone numbers, and like I said, I'm 46, not super old, but I'm not old. I don't have that much gray hair, but like I'm not putting my fucking cell phone number into a chat bot on a fucking computer, to answer any questions. So. I was so distrustful of the mechanism. Within like 6 hours, somebody's asking me a question about something. I answer them. It goes straight to their cell phone. They have their question answered. They're happy.
Right.
I'm like, holy shit! That was within 6 hours. I just turned somebody that could have been, and ambiguity is is always seen negatively. All of a sudden they were able to click a button. I was able to answer them. They got it. Everything was great. And this is the thing, like those interactions are kept track of in the database.
And that's
So like
amazing.
all
I
the
like the fact that
history,
there's a database.
I'll show you some of the techie tools I'm working with. And
Yeah,
yeah,
because I just switched over my companies because of some,
from what to what,
well, actually, it's just,
or to
now I have
what?
yeah, well, I moved away from this Reaper Tech company.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep, and you know why? I think.
I have no idea why, but
Oh, yeah, they had an issue. They had one of those issues,
yeah.
and everyone left. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, um, and now, now I'm with a private company, through one of the old salesmen, actually helped me go through like a private company, and I have, just basically like a self-made, it's a made form. It's like a custom form. Um, and it's kind of itemized like that, but we're still fitting all the pieces together. And that's where yeah, what you're saying, it sounds kind of cool because I'm still not 100% comfy with what we've got. I kind of have to manually do certain things.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'm losing sleep over it. So, that'd be cool.
I've been using like three to four different types of softwares for this kind of stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
as I'm consulting, I just work with different companies or different tattoo shops. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess they are technically companies. I mean, yesterday I said, the tattoo clients aren't real clients. Mostly because like out in the real world, I charge like $150 an hour. Every hour. In the tattoo world, I don't charge that. And except for some of the tattoo shops, so I do sometimes for like consulting or whatever. Point is, I didn't mean to say that because my client, the potential client was like, I think tattoo clients are real clients. And they're also like, I'm getting quoted real quotes from other companies. What the fuck? And I'm like, oh man, what am I doing? Like, I'm stuck in like 1998, like discount, when there was like 3 tattoo shops in the States that would actually pay, the
Right.
going rate for computer geeks. But
Oh yeah, everyone thinks that we expect a discount or yeah, like everyone kind of, I've noticed that being an owner, everyone just
well,
wants to go through a different method. I'm like, no, 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 no. You tell me a price and you tell me and show me a contract and
well,
show me this and
that's what I've
go from
been.
there.
That's what I like for a long time now. Hey, that's what I. How much do you want? Okay, well, either I can figure that out or I can't figure that out. But like, you just let me know what works perfectly for you, because then there's no excuse for it to go anything other than perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But oh yeah, anyways, the CRM stuff is great, and the ways that you can have like 5 or 6 different ways to communicate all get centralized, put into one spot, right? So they've got like your Facebook messages and your text messages and your website chat bot and and your website consultation form. Like I said, for me, I'm like, I'm a little daunted. I'm like, oh man, now all of a sudden, well, it's crazy because I've got more consultations coming in now and more communications coming. I'm fixing more problems and I'm helping more people, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also getting more tattoo inquiries, which is a little frustrating not having a tattoo shop. But it's fun. Like, but I guess to your kind of point, it's not an insignificant amount of work, and putting it all together. And I'm putting together similar tools for reinventing, and it's both fun, but it's a lot of work.
Right. It's all work, but it is the way that the world is going, especially now that we know what our infrastructure is like during, mass hysteria moments like this.
Oh yeah.
And you can't have people walking in your studio. You just can't do what we've been doing for decades. It just has to change just a little bit just to keep everything kosher. I'm having a hard time keeping a counter staff, even though we don't really need one. Like still just someone to like help out with email, someone that people just don't want to, we're going through a job crisis right now. And there are a lot of people that know that they'll make more with unemployment than they will working at a tattoo shop, which, whatever happened to those young college kids, that just needed a job?
You know,
Um,
of all the jobs, helping facilitate tattoos, you know, is a fucking great one.
oh, it's a great one, and
I mean,
it's limitless. I mean, as an apprentice,
100%.
I worked for everybody, you know, and I made so much money as an apprentice, you know, helping people schedule appointments, helping like talking to clients, like, and I
Uh,
sold art on the side, and I was like, man, I am like killing it. I'm gonna be a great tattooer and so organized. But I still think about, yeah, like what if like what if I woke up tomorrow and my hands are like paralyzed? I'm like, I probably would just be a personal assistant to a tattooer or a couple tattooers and handle their emails and handle their, you know, stuff, because it's like it's such a cool, it is a very cool job. It is a very different job, and it has like so many different like, I don't know, I utilize so many things, so many skills that I learned doing like professional work in, and I utilize them in tattooing every day.
sure. Well, and as
So if
a
anyone, yeah, if they wanted to
one,
move on, they could just do that.
you know, and
Yeah.
as a one-person show, you kind of need to use all the different skills, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, man, I've just been really glad that I've had the craziness in my life that I have, to where I own a shop through COVID, and Oklahoma, and everything, you know. Because it's, they test you out here.
I bet. I
Oh
bet.
yes. Oh yes.
It's having the shop out in Oregon for a couple of years. It was like, wow, like, I mean, it's like the Wild West. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
just fucking crazy. You know, I'm down with, well, you know, I'm down with uncertainty and risk and fucking, you know, I didn't grow up safer by any stretch of the imagination, but going out to Oregon, I'm like, wow, you
Yeah.
guys are out of your control. Melissa says
Yeah.
many hats. Yes, there. I actually have another slide. It's too many hats. And but you know, but to Melissa's point, and using the hat analogy, one of the things about business is when you define the hats, then you could actually like, well, I guess I'm not. You could literally change your hats. Actually, wait, no, it's not literally. It's metaphorically. You can metaphorically change your hats, but then all of a sudden you actually can have a little bit of a mental shift and be like, wait, I'm the accountant now. You know, oh wait, I'm taking
Mhm.
off my accountant hat. I'm the marketing person now. You know, and
Yeah.
but ultimately, if you don't do that and you just start like hiring people haphazardly and like handing off, you know, some of the tasks, but not the role.
Oh, it screws you over. Oh,
Yeah,
it
completely.
can totally, yeah, completely can screw you over, just because one, while you're training that person, you could like one lose foresight of everything else that's going on, because training takes forever. But
Yeah.
then, so that's if it's haphazard, like you got to really make sure you have the right people with you and that are for you. That's like the hardest one, is to find people that actually care enough to do a good job.
Yeah.
So they have to be kind of for you, you know. Someone could be super excited and be like, oh, I want to be involved and this is great. But you're like, yeah, but do you know how to be involved? Do you know really what this job is? And that's also my advice to anyone that wants to apprentice. Like, do you really know what it is we do? Or do you know it from TV and what you've
Yeah.
seen? Um, it's hard to, yeah, and then plus, yeah, if you give it to them and you trust them, then when you revisit and you realize how much they've either screwed something up, or, you know, then you're doubly delayed and doubly behind, and you're out of some money because, you know, they were employed by you. um so it's, yeah, I've had in the beginning some luck like that, and then I just decided to like, nope, just gotta keep my eye on everything. And I just regulated my schedule so I can do certain things on certain days. Um, you know, I kind of take a route where I will book out time just to even freak out about something if I need to. And I'm like, oh
Nice.
no, not thinking about it right now. I'm doing this. Um, because if I didn't, I wouldn't get anything done. Um, but yeah, like Tuesdays are my working with prints and art days. And then like every day I try to do art, but even then you can burn yourself out if you're tattooing as well. So I try to at least stick aside art days while I do all my managerial stuff. So I'm still multitasking, at least getting some of my stuff in, because I still see like even painting as like just a craft you have to keep up. If you don't, you forget it.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
everyone's progressing.
Everyone's progressing, right? Got to keep up with them.
Let's see. Melissa says, "Yep, lots of laughter, or LOL, or
Laugh out loud.
laugh out loud."
You're so old.
Shit. So hard. I'm not turned. I'm fire.
You're so on fleek.
I'm fleek. I'm on point.
Yeah,
Wait,
you're so fleek.
Okay, so wait. Sorry. She says, "Yep, LOL. So hard letting go of what is necessary to move forward."
Oh yes. Tell me about that. What are the? I want to say there's 4 killers now to a tattooer's life or an artist's life. And what was the old proverb of like sex, drugs, and women? Relationships and vices and anything that like gives you the sense of comfort. Sometimes you just have to like, nope, I'm doing this because this is way more important. And as an artist, I have to say even that I've had to like separate myself from some just negative crap because I was like, wow, I'm noticing that I'm not painting in this situation, or I notice that I'm like not even wanting to think about things in this, whatever that might be, this situation, and that's like we have different lives than like a 9 to 5er. We're having to like produce material out of our heads or have the concentration to be able to look and to be able to replicate. And even when you're in the business of art, you have to be on the game. You have to be on your game. You have to, stay up with technology. You have to keep up with different methods, keep yourself in the community, keep yourself present. I feel like this should be an apprentice, like, let's listen to this podcast, young folk. Like, listen to these old people talk about the future.
Well, there's a lot of people that are listening. It's one of the reasons why they do.
Yeah, good. I don't know everything, but the more you listen to a variety of people and a variety of careers, and then you learn more and more and more how you can adapt and hone in on your skills of living. It's just like learning all the rules, right? So then you can break them, but you have to learn literally all the rules first. You have to know what you are capable of before you can like really get comfortable and master something so much that you change it completely and make it yours and be successful with it. So I've thankfully I put myself on purpose around people that are much more different than I, just for that. And then try to like at least keep like-minded people around me for my own self-esteem. But if I want to learn something, I'll go to a scary place that is unfamiliar. And if it hurts, then I know I'm learning. If it's difficult, then I know I'm learning.
Just like, again, get back to the biology, like, if you're exercising, the pain is often, not always, but often the sign that, you're becoming stronger, doing what you're supposed to do.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then you should, I'm trying to find the nice subtle way to express it, but like, and then sometimes when, in fact, that's the only, that attitude does not ensure that you'll get through anything, but you will not get through everything without that attitude.
Right. At least you'll have a good go at it and you won't be crying at the end of the day. Because I can admit, my apprenticeship was a long time ago and it was different than what these kids are having today. I'm just saying that. It's just different now. And I'm glad that it's getting, people are not as abusive and people aren't, I learned, I was the only girl in downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. So I learned in Florida, just the Florida man was my client. The Florida man was my coworker, you know, like
Sure.
I worked with a man who didn't blink ever.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, and then I got to watch his ass get beat for fucking freaking out. And that was hilarious. But that's Florida, you know. And I remember so many times I just wanted to cry, but because I was scared for my life.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. But you just kind of like learn over time that that's a reaction that doesn't actually have to happen. You can just like take a look at what's really going on, look at what the reality is around you. And I was able to always get out of those situations because I was able to crack a joke at the person who was being terrifying and resolve the situation and calm it down. Like, and nowadays, like even if you tell them to clean something, they start crying, and you're like, where are you gonna go in life with that kind of attitude? You know, like no, they're gonna reach a point of adulthood that they're gonna meet the wrong person who just does not care.
Yeah.
And I'm very caring with everyone in my environment. Like probably annoyingly, they say it's like, Renee, just calm down, we're fine. I'm like, okay, all right.
It feels like, if you think about it, you know, the way that the energy was flowing was not in the appropriate direction.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, and it's, I don't know. I want to have hope for these younglings coming into tattooing. And I told this girl this, like, I really, really, really want the industry to be flooded with creative, honest artists that have a good work ethic and that see everyone as an individual, but yet like we are all like here under the same principle. We're all here, you know, like let's all respect each other. Let's have fun. Let's play in the same sandbox together, you know. But then there's all this other stuff. Like there's still felons. There's still sexual predators. There's still, you know, there's all these people. There's all these elements that are still here with us, you know. And they may even reformed, you know, they say shocking things and they do shocking things. And I'm scared that I'm actually worried that a lot of these younger generations are just going to screw this. I'll be a graphic designer. And so I remember when the tattoo shows first started going or first started happening, and everyone was kind of freaked out about them.
The tattoo TV shows.
Yeah, oh, right,
Yeah.
right. The TV shows. The more popularized, like the more produced. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
Miami Ink was the first
Miami
one.
Kelly,
Yeah.
right. And there was an article, I can't remember who it's from. She was hilarious. She said something along the lines of after the floods, you know, because everyone then was becoming a tattooer, and we were, you know, 2006 was a huge wave of tattooers coming in Florida that I remember, and it was getting pretty heavy. Like a lot of people were starting, you know, because there wasn't enough work and there was too many tattooers, you know. And someone said that like once the floods recede, then you know the true wizards will still be standing. And I feel like that's kind of happening. Like there's like a handful of really cool people coming out doing really cool stuff that are the younger generation. But I feel like, yeah, some of us, you know, third gen or fourth gens, I guess, are just like holding on. Like, yeah, we're here, we're still here, you know. We're a little older now. There's no one really younger underneath us, but we're still here, you know. Because I know several people that are like, nope, I'm never going to take an apprentice. Screw that. And honestly, after my last two, that you know, just decided it wasn't for them. I'm like, I think I'm done. You know, I have like 2.5 really good ones that I'm really proud of that I've gotten to influence, and they're doing great. I'll be seeing one of them actually next month or this month. Now that it's well, you know, September at the Explorers Convention, we're going together.
Oh,
You know,
awesome.
as mentor and apprentice. Even though he's like he's on his own. He's great.
Sure.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's all grown up. I think it's like wow, like these are my people. I train these people, and that is it. and thank God they're doing great, and they're all older now. They've all been solidified now for like the last 6 years, like,
Nice.
yeah. But that's it. Like, I don't think I can even talk to someone anymore that's younger, about what we do, because I'm generally concerned for them.
Well,
Um,
for the sake of argument, because I love the sake of
mhm.
argument,
Yes, yes.
you don't need to take, apprentices don't need to be, well, because we're arguing, maybe they shouldn't even be 17, right? Like the last couple of apprentices that I brought through off the map were illustrators.
Oh, yes, yes.
They'd already been
Hmm.
illustrating, they had gone through, like they weren't in their, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what their exact ages were, but they might not have even been in their 20s.
Hmm.
And then the other one, another one that we were attracting was, and he actually's learned to tattoo. He wasn't off the map because we blew apart before then. But he was like he might have been in his 50s.
Oh,
Frankly, the
yeah.
Eric Talbot. Everyone should check him out. His Teenage
Oh,
Mutant
yeah.
Ninja Turtle artist,
Hmm. Hmm.
and he learned to tattoo when I swear he was in his mid 50s.
Hmm.
Another apprentice that we had that, or whatever, typical story of not getting along anymore, but he learned to tattoo 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
Oh,
How
wow.
about that? 9 to 5,
Whoa.
Monday to Friday.
Changing the game. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah. But I mean, they're allowed to do that, like they're allowed to change it. And yeah, I had one instance with an older, I think he was 42 and he was an artist. He had just realized that he was an artist within the last 5 years. So he was really feeling good on it, but then just thought that, oh, like tattooing must be just all art.
Mm.
And as soon as he started learning about like bloodborne pathogens and organization and things like that, then he dipped, he bounced. He's like, no, this is crazy. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. At least you know that. Good. But
Yeah.
no, I think you're right. Like maybe they just should not be young. The girl that I'll be mentoring, I tattoo her mentor. Um, and she's already in a charter program that's like she's pretty like an exceptional child.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, I so to kind of help her along until she realizes probably this is not for her. I'm just going to teach her everything about art
Art. Yeah. Cool.
and
Well, I mean,
style and
yeah.
everything.
I mean, I am
Yeah.
all for anybody who wants to, give to the art of tattooing to engage with it. And I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, I'm good friends with hundreds of, well, maybe not hundreds of, I'm not good friends with hundreds of people, but I understand. I interact with hundreds of artists, who learned
Mhm.
to tattoo when they were, teenagers and early 20s.
Right.
And certainly you can do it and you can be awesome at it, no question about it. But it's going to be harder and harder and harder and harder, as the pool of people that want to become tattooers, rises in skill level. Then it's just going to
Mhm.
be harder, right? Like I'm not saying that an
Exactly.
18-year-old can't do it. I'm just saying that 20 years ago or 10 years ago, even the 18-year-old wasn't competing against a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle illustrator. But now
Right.
that said, one of my favorite things is to watch illustrators look at tattooing and see, ooh, I can make a lot of money at that, and get chewed up and spit right back out because they saw the money in it. They didn't see the beauty of tattooing in it.
Right. They weren't in love with tattooing. They are in love with what they think come like what they see the money, they
Yeah,
see tattooers folding their arms in a certain way and looking cool on the TV. They see the
yeah,
fashion, they see
yeah.
the glamour, right?
Not the illustrators. The illustrators see half-assed artists that barely know composition,
Oh yeah, and they're like,
making
I
some
need
pretty
to
good
take
money,
this. Well, yeah,
and
I
they're
know
like,
several graphic designers too that have done that have come
yeah,
over to tattooing and are amazing, you
yeah,
know? Yeah, and I'm glad that those guys are here because they're changing the game about composition.
absolutely.
Yeah, talking about boldness. I mean, I think it was like I was such a young, and do you remember Kool-Aid?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's coming back around too. He's like, oh hey, I'm out, I'm here. Um, he talked to me the whole time he tattooed me, and I was a
Oh, cool.
young. Yeah. Oh, he was so nice. And he knew my friend Scott Lucas, who owns Rebel Reprints, and we worked in the same town together.
Uh-huh.
Really nice. Because all those guys are really nice and informative, and they were so much cooler than who was apprenticing me, who's now dead, so I can say that. And yeah, I'm just really fortunate that, I mean, he told me he was a graphic designer, and he talked to me about like, oh, like how that's really helped him. And he was, so yeah, I think, and we talked about composition, we talked about his inks, we talked about everything. Um, and I do think it's really important for a young apprentice to have a job that is somewhat within this field beforehand.
Yeah, like a work,
Because you
like
get
a
to,
art work for hire kind of a thing.
right, because then you get to learn professionalism too. So your person that's teaching you how to tattoo isn't having to teach you everything,
Sure.
because I don't know one single person, including myself, that's not in their right mind that wants to apprentice, you know? Like it's hard. It's
Sure.
another job. You're responsible for someone else's safety and well-being while they're in your studio and or not, you know. It's difficult, and the more that we don't have to teach you, the better.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. But that does not mean go and get a tattoo machine and try to learn yourself. That is not at all what I mean. Because there's a lot of that going on too. They're like, oh yeah, I got a
Yeah.
machine, and I've been, you know, fuck. And what I hear them saying is, oh yeah, I've been fucking people up, spreading hepatitis, you know.
Yeah,
on
completely.
the
Yeah, for sure.
completely. And you're like, no, stop. And they're like, why? You know, isn't that what I need to learn? I'm like, no, baby steps.
Uh,
I actually had a friend think that we were torturing our apprentice because we weren't teaching her how to tattoo within the first 6 months. They're like, well, don't you like want to, doesn't she like need to know that? And I think this actually led to her quitting too. I think he like went and he's like, this is just weird. And I'm like, no, this is standard. I was like, it's
yeah.
like teaching someone, you know, how to fly before they can walk. You know, it's like you're teaching someone how to hold a weapon and give
Yeah,
all of her
completely.
friends hepatitis, you know, and then, you know, so it's like, no, once they realize that, yes, they want to do it, they want to do this, then you can go for it, you know, because I had to prove that to my guys too. I mean, and they were really, really dramatic about it. Now that,
Sure.
you know, yeah, oh yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's a
you can
fucking,
walk.
it's a great
It's
job, you know. It's
yeah,
but it's also easy to fuck it up, right? And so, like, part of that
so
process
easy
is,
to fuck it up.
you know, you got
Yeah,
to do
baby
it
steps.
as perfect as you can the first time.
Hmm.
And I mean, obviously, we all have bouts of impatience, but like with tattooing, like, you know, and again, it's like not like tattooing gives a shit either way. It's just going to make sure you pay the consequences for being impatient.
Yeah, exactly. Like watercolor here. If I'm impatient and just want to take my flat brush and just whoosh, 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 whoosh all around, my
Right.
painting is going to be really shitty. So, you know, here I'll actually talk about what I've been doing here because I think I'm kind of off a little bit. There we go. I've been kind of nitpicking over some leaves and some stuff. And I've just been making my painting a little bit more clear in there where I want to. And I'm just focusing on background first as much as I can before I attack our main star here. Because if there's even a little bit of overlap or a little bit of seepage, I'm just going to cover that right up with pigment. And building background is really important to your composition and making sure that your little creature has a little home in there. And yeah, like making sure you have your contrast too before you lay down your lights, because like tattooing, watercolor is very much, if you can, lightest to dark. Sometimes I'll just go, but I like to build my dark out for my background before I start laying down colors as much as possible. Just and let that dry, and that's most important. You got to let it dry. So I kind of work cylindrically throughout the painting while things are drying at certain times. And that's also another little tip that if you're doing a painting and you've overworked an area or an area is too wet, literally just stop it. Just stop touching it and go work on something else and then come back to it while it dries. And watercolor is nice like that. You just keep moving. If you don't like something, you know, we can Bob Ross it and say you can make it a little happy accident. You know, like, oh, that's a little splashy leaf there. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Nice. Hey, Flo
Mm.
Hebdo in the chat room says, when the student is ready, the master appears, quote, is a quote from somewhere. I'm a
nice.
38-year-old apprentice, and glad that I took my time to grow, learn, and have my life experience to bring to this industry.
Oh, beautiful. Wonderful. Yes, that's actually a very good point. I asked the wee one what she wanted to do with her life. And she hopefully is writing that down. I hope she's watching this too. I hope she's writing that down on a nice list about what she wants out of life, what she wants to do with it. You know, I know a lot of people haven't had to do this, but I feel like the year that I started tattooing and the environment that it was in, and I know it's changing, but trust me, it's really hard to change old conditions in your head. I had to give up basically everything that was I liked doing. I liked, you know, partying. I liked dating. I liked, you know, free time. I liked the flexibility of traveling, you know, and the busier you get tattooing, the more that you put into it, the more, you know, wanted you are from your clients, the more that you put into your work, that kind of goes away. You know, I'm not 40 yet, but I look at my other friends that are my age and I have to compare a little bit, be like, oh wow, okay. Okay, I've chosen a different life is what I have come up to. Like, because yes, I am in Oklahoma as well, and everyone gets married and has babies here. But I mean, for this career, it's hard to do certain things like that. And I always think of I think it's South Korea that has developed the term Simpo life. Um, it's I think it's either Japan or South Korea, but it's basically based off of your work and your education and basically the things that you have to give up. Like you have to give up the simple life of things. Like you have to give up like relationships. No one dates. No one's having kids. No one's, you know, doing these things because surviving in a certain kind of work environment or survival environment, you can't do those things. You know, you have to spend all of your attention doing something else. So, you know, and again, this isn't for everyone. Everyone can change the game and either work 9 to 5, you know, and control like what they do. But I mean, my young girl that wanted to apprentice under me, you know, right off the bat said she wanted to be a tattooer, a shop owner, you know, all these things. I'm like, whoa, settle down your horses, you know, because you can't have everything. It's very hard to have everything and have a healthy lifestyle while you're doing it. You know, like my sister right now has, I think, a lot in her life. You know, she's got the career, she's got the husband, she's got the kid. But man, oh man, will you talk to her about being stressed and tired?
Oh, shit.
Oh yes.
No.
So it's all about where you want to put your energy, and life is like a big scale, you know, like where do you want to divide this stuff out? So I feel like being a female tattooer in Florida in early 2000s, you had to make some decisions, and I was already kind of a weird punk rock chick with a pickup truck and just ready to spit fire. So that worked for me, but I couldn't imagine my beautiful dainty cousins doing what I do, or it's just a kind of a different approach to life, which is super fun if you like that stuff. But I always, just take a good look and ask yourself what you want, and then try to figure out from there, like how you're going to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, as a
There,
tattooer, you are going to get it. I mean, part of your job is to help people become who they want to be, right? So that, if you're good at it, that means you definitely could be who you want to be. And like if you don't know, or if part of what you want to be is unhealthy, that's going to be amplified, along with everything else.
exactly. And I can't tell you, I mean, yeah, too, like how many tattooers are just like, we lose them at least once a year. We lose one to suicide or something, like
Sure.
I've met so many, artists that, I mean, I met Likeness right before, stuff happened. And I was like,
Jed.
wow, that man hates himself.
Yeah.
And everyone else, like your life doesn't have to be that way,
Yeah.
and that's the box that sometimes we put ourselves in when we feel like we have to. I picked up and moved to Oklahoma and opened a shop because I was starting to feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's a different life, but man, at least I don't feel like, I feel very encouraged, by my environment. I feel I feel like I'm doing some good, by providing a shop that I have for people, because it is a little scary out there, for any transgender or, gay, straight, friendly. Sometimes, there's only a couple shops that I would even refer besides my own for people that are just not white, straight man,
Sucks.
to go work at. And yeah, and I mean, they tell me, and I thank God, my staff really does, they at least let me know that they are glad that I provided a space for them that's safe, because they know that I've had a couple things happen while I've been here that thankfully I was lucky enough to get out of. And that's just the reality, So
Yeah. I
you
mean,
can always change your environment.
it's one of the things that I love about, I think I said this earlier about tattooing, is that it enables everybody to participate. It doesn't care if you're gay or not, or straight, or, tattooing will allow you to express, well, tattooers express their artistic sensibilities, with clients. Yeah, I mean, the good news is, or at least it seems, is that the tide is changing. I follow the the Google News. For the Tattoo Weekly, we try to pick off what's in the news, and for the most part, it's like celebrity bullshit. But one of the things that strikes me is at least twice a week, if not 3 times a week now, there's an article about LGBTQ, whatever, a non-white dude tattoo shop opening up specifically, so that there's diversity and people could feel comfortable in different places. And it's obviously it's not close to 50-50 yet, and it shouldn't stop until it is. But there's definitely at least been some times where I'm like, wow, there's like I said, sometimes there'll be 3 to 5 articles of this nature a week happening.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But maybe not quite in Oklahoma City yet.
Not yet. We're getting there. We're getting awesome. There. And I mean, the cool thing is like when I got here, it was a very strange, it was just so new that there weren't any like foundational rules that I was used to. Like there's rules, and I was used to Philly 6th Street rules, and I was used to Tampa Bay rules, and I was used to like there's rules in which shops like interact with one another, and sure. That's what keeps things cool. And everyone was super friendly, and everyone was super like, oh yeah, like we're out of thermofax paper. Let me go ask the boys at blah, 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 or, hey, I'm going to go draw with so-and-so at this shop, do you anyone want a coffee? Like, and there's none of that here.
Rough.
None of it. But the cool thing is within the time that I've been here and the time that I've opened up my studio, there has been there's been my age group opening up studios, and we get along and we can do that, so
right. Yeah.
I feel like, like the old weird generation, and they're not even old, but like the mentality is hopefully dying off. And I mean, I started out by sending a postcard to every single studio in this town when I opened up, and I invited them. Yeah, sure. I invited them to a little party. Like, hey, I'm your neighbor. I'm not your enemy.
Right. Sure.
Because none of us are starving. Like none of us should be. If you're a decent person and a decent artist in Oklahoma, you can make money. Like there should
Yeah.
be no feud. And you know how many people showed up?
Oh shit! I don't even want to guess. Like 5? No, I don't know.
No, I mean my
Or
friend showed
more
up
than
to the
people,
party,
more
but
than 5 people. How many artists though? How many?
oh, I mean, okay, so the people that shop wise that I invited, I mean, it was a good shindig with friends and clients
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Our people showed up, no problem.
Yeah.
But invitees of other shops, and this is before my homies opened up theirs, one.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
Sad. Really
one.
crazy. Yeah.
That, and he sells for Industry Inc. So we're both sponsored artists through
Uh-huh,
them.
uh-huh.
So you know, he's a
Uh,
homie. But I was like, wow,
uh,
wow, okay, cool. And you know, I did it like kind of knowing that that's what would happen, but I just still did it. I wanted to see, you know,
sure.
like I wanted to see, but oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. So yeah, it's time for a change in this industry for sure. And it's about attitude, and it's about, you know, like not threatening and not, you know, I don't know. It's just so bizarre. Um, but I mean, I already went through South Florida and I already went through, you know, the grievances of being the only woman all downtown tattooing. So the stuff that's happened was I already kind of had a head on it, you know. I already knew what to say and just be like, whatever. Like someone did straight up threaten me when I opened up, and I just laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like okay. My
Uh,
apprentice at the time heard it. She's like, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, "That was some old school shit."
uh-huh.
So yeah, I was like, "Wow, that's just still happening." Okay, cool.
Oh, fucking out
Whatever.
of their
So
minds.
they're out of their minds. So I just made sure my insurance on my windows was really good.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah,
It
okay.
is worth getting good insurance. That was something where I was always, you know, cheaping out on. And then, you know, when time comes, it's like, oh, you know, you could have been insured against that if you paid like, you know, $50 a month more or whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay,
right,
so let's see
right.
here. Melissa Sink says, I use the, sorry, let me rephrase this. I use learned graphic design skills every day. So the
Oh,
graphic design skills that she's learned, she uses every day in her tattoo.
oh yes. Yeah, and it does. Like that's, you know, I actually got a youngling that was fresh out of art school. But without the job practice, because I thought, oh, cool, art school, you know, I went to art school. Maybe it's the same. Yeah, we should know the same thing, like fundamentals, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But she didn't know what, like how to do a figure study. And, you know, when I found this out, you know, I just kind of got stunned a little
Like, did
bit.
she go to art school?
Yeah, like she went to art school for 4 years. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't even know what one is? You know, because I was like, I
Yeah.
showed her, like, no, this is a figure study. This is how you approach it. She's like, yeah, they never taught us this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh
It's
dear.
yeah, there's
So that,
definitely like art schools there's a wide variety of them, of course. But yeah. And then
yeah, so
students also bring their own thing into it. But
yeah, exactly. But there's a learning curve for sure with taking on an apprentice for the teacher as well. There's a learning curve there.
oh yeah.
About what they know and what they don't know. What do we teach you? You know, sometimes it's really good to know as well what kind of learning style you do have, and that takes time. You know, I learned mine pretty early on because I've just been mentored for years. And so, you know, I either had someone tell me or I just figured it out. Like I was told I'm a visual learner, and I am. And once I was told that, I realized, oh yeah, if I watch someone do something, I'll learn it. And so then I know how to apply it. Like if I really want to learn something, I know that I can just literally stand behind someone for like a half an hour and figure out exactly what they're doing. And that's why conventions were, that's why I really, really, really liked them. Because I would just, what was the word? Lurk. I'll just lurk.
Lurk.
Lurking. Because if you see me staring at you at a convention, that's what I'm doing. I am learning everything you're doing. I'm sorry, but even if you don't want me to, I am.
Uh-huh.
So learning, I mean, some people are audio learners, some people have to write things down, some people have to, so through experience and through practice, you know, that's, it's good to know coming into this, so you know how to tell your mentor, this is how I learn, and be honest with it, you know, because they're going to expect you to learn from there on out if you say that. So no experimenting, just come in fully prepared to experience, you know, what it is, and learn some weird knowledge about some weird stuff that you've never, you know, thought of before. And
Mhm.
oh man, yeah. And I don't know, I love it. It's fun. It kept me, I mean, it's not all that bad. I'm obviously still doing it. I still love it. Um, and I'm definitely part of the generation that, you know, is trying to change it from what it was. Because I learned from bikers and one not so scary person.
No, just one.
I
Yeah,
had one. Yeah.
it's definitely great to see the diversity enter in, and it's you know, the bikers have a place, but it shouldn't be the only. Clearly, shouldn't be the only place.
Clearly, yeah. No, and they do, and they're great within their own, like what they have wonderful things to say sometimes, and they've got good jokes. They had a different bedside manner that sometimes I find as genius. Um, but you know, again, that's where like everyone has something to offer, you know, and I feel like it was just monopolized for quite some time by, you know, the biker dudes. That's what everyone thinks about sometimes still if you talk about tattoos, you know. Oh, you must be like a biker. Or yeah,
We're in a very progressive area here, so even the bikers, they're ice cream bikers.
oh yay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we still got some bikers here in Oklahoma.
sure.
I haven't really seen any. We had like one little scare at another shop that I was at, but it was fine. Like I greeted him at the door before he even had a chance to come in.
Mm.
And then I was like, hey, what's up? Let's go to this other room. Let's talk. And then doors were shut. And then he came out and he was inviting me to a cookout. And my boss was like, what did you just say? And I was like, well, he was going to come in here and try to intimidate us. And then
Uh,
I throated him with
nice,
my charmingness. Like, I'm so
awesome.
charming. Yeah, no, that was ridiculous. I was like, you do realize that we're just two girls, right? Like
Right.
you do realize
So,
this. Yeah. And my boss was younger than me, and she was definitely, you know, from Denver. She was like terrified. She was like, what's happening right now? Yeah, I was like, I got this, girl.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, good save. Terrifying, but good
Yep.
save. Yeah. That guy's actually been pushed out of Oklahoma since then.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hallelujah.
Oh, it's horrible. You now I've got a little gossip lure out there for the computer geeks, but I just wasn't. I was never. Oh, I don't know. Sorry. I guess I'm associating when I don't need to.
Hmm.
So what are you now? Is that what kind of brush is that? I guess I'm
Oh my gosh. What is I
Is it like
think
just a
what they're
normal like
called.
watercolor brush or?
Yeah, it's a watercolor brush, but this is amazing. Are you guys ready? Look at this. What?
Oh, okay.
Um, I buy them at my local art store here, and I think the company name is just Silver, but they have a couple different ones, and they protect your brushes from getting messed up, and you can just flip it over and voila.
Awesome.
Mine are old and getting a little flimsy, so I just put a little piece of tape down, and that saves it. All my brushes are probably falling apart just a little bit, just because you know, they'll fall apart if you use them. So
Yeah.
that's and they're very handy. And they're synthetic still too. So you know, they don't hurt the babies. Um, and then I have a couple different ones. I literally sometimes I'm never really cohesive in my brushes. Like I really just I feel like each brush is made individually. So when you're looking for your brushes, you can't count necessarily like, oh, this brand is going to always be wonderful. This brand is always like you're literally dealing with minute little hairs, and then they're
Yeah.
putting them together and crimping them down with metal, right? Like thinking about it this way, I could literally make a brush out of my hair if my hair was soft enough.
Sure.
So every single brush will be slightly different than the last. So I mean, I've even found really cheap, inexpensive, I'll say inexpensive brushes that, I mean, lasted me for years. And it's all about, you know, how they fold, how you see they like carry the ink. So like tattooing, if you're a tattooer and watching, like the length is sometimes the well of how much pigment you, and how like how absorbent they are, like how they feed within the bristles. That's why really soft brushes can like really soak in a lot of pigment, and you can just carry it through because you're just pushing pigment around really. But make sure you take care of your brushes, you know, and just, yeah, just they are your tools. So make sure, you know, before you go home that they're conditioned well. Man, I've almost murdered some friends because I've watched them use my brushes aggressively, you know, and I'm like, do you know how long I've had that brush for?
What are you doing?
So
Awesome.
what are you doing? Yeah. And it's how, like, even when I am rinsing my brush out, I am gentle with them. I soothe, I like stroke them, you know, even like cleaning them out, I'm gentle with them. So I do like the pearl ones. Those are cool. What are these guys? Oh, the Simply Simmons. Those are really fun, and those are a little bit more inexpensive too. But for watercolor brushes, make sure you just get a really, really nice soft. The softer the better, because we're dealing with nice fluffy water, and we want to be fluffy with our watercolor. We don't want to see bristles. We don't want to see strokes. So you got to make sure that you can see this really nice flat little chunky monkey here. And then I can just get some water on it. And then it's like this big fluffy paddle now that I can just flip, 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 flip. So this is really, really nice, soft, fine brushes. This literally feels like a bunny. And then it's all fake though. And you want that so it just fills up full of liquid, and you can just plop, 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 plop. And that's what that brush is. My watercolors, I also have a little variety of this. I still have some from art school that watercolors are amazing. They can solidify, and that's half of my palette that you see here are solidified already. They're dried out. But the really, really good watercolor pigments, you can just get them, you rejuvenate them and just get them wet again. And they're great. They're just like out of the tube. So I use, I'll get some examples here. The Winsor & Newton, they also make liquid, they also make inks and liquid acrylics. That's a really, really nice high pigmented one that's fairly inexpensive. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Oh, I got this, what is it? Shinhan Professional ones, these guys. These aren't that bad. I just got a whole set. I don't know, I got a gift card and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? It has like skin tones in it and things that I like tend to never buy. So I figured, why not? I'll just get this whole set and go through it, revisit, because I've really have kept the same palette since art school. And so sometimes I try to mix it up. Yeah, I know. I'm a creature of habit. I'm like, should I tell you ones that I hate? I got these Van Gogh ones. I really hate them. Don't. Yeah, don't. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm like really a creature of habit. Oh, yeah. Here the Grumbacher. Those ones are really nice. You see that? Those are good. These have lasted forever. And if you want to keep your tube of watercolor pigment lasting forever, and you want to be able to use it forever, a couple things. One, make sure that a fox or a cat is not near your caps, because they will eat them. Yeah, true story. Make sure you try to keep it, you know, like a tube of toothpaste. You know, keep it from the bottom as much as you can. And make sure your lids are just super, super tight. And I clean sometimes around the edges so they don't solidify. But I mean, watercolor is so cool that even if this were just to be a dried out brick, you know, I could literally cut the end of this and just kind of puke out some pigment and reactivate it, and it's still good to go. And then I can crimp it down And there you go. And these are all foil, so you just keep crimping and crimping and crimping. And that's a nice little trick of just keeping things around forever, especially if you like it. So
Awesome.
I do like watercolor for that. I feel like I waste oil so bad sometimes, even though I try my best not to. I always feel like there's always like one, delivered little pile of oil like after a painting that I just completely didn't use. I completely just wasted, and I'll try to like transfer it to another palette and screw it up. But with watercolor, I can literally like let this dry and just like kind of like poke at it and it'll chip off and I can just put it in another palette.
Give it a go. Now, do you
Yeah,
have
give it a
any?
go.
Do you have any? Do you do anything after to set it or to protect it, or what's the difference between the archival nature of watercolors versus oils?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. With oils, they do kind of get a little funny. They can like adapt. So it is good to protect them, either with a varnish or but with watercolors, I mean, you can get like a spray protectant. Like I just get, what do I really don't, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I keep it out of sunlight. I make sure that I frame it and put it behind some good UV glass.
Uh-huh.
And that really will keep a watercolor painting protected forever. Because
Yeah,
you
just
are like, yeah, you're soaking paper with pigment. So not really like it is encompassing the whole thing. The paper is your painting. The
yeah.
paper is so you can spray it with like a normal fixative that you would, or not, I keep saying fixative, a normal sealant like you would for charcoal
Uh-huh.
or things like that. Make sure it's matte so you don't have some weird glossiness going on. But you can do that too, just to make sure that whatever paper is light, doesn't change tone over time with sunlight and things like that. But I generally don't. In a pinch in the old days, I would just grab some hairspray and just give it a go. But with my watercolors, they stay pretty good because, but also because I am framing them, or I am keeping them in a nice tight moleskin book. Like
Uh-huh.
nothing's deteriorating. I'm keeping them out of a moist. Make sure you keep if you have a watercolor book or a watercolor painting or a sketchbook, obviously keep them out of moist conditions. Because I mean, you can destroy a whole lifetime of work in a sketchbook in one drop of a puddle or one
Oh,
bad rain.
sure.
And I've done that before, and that's why, like, I've learned over time to carry my moleskin book in a plastic bag. And it's one of those like travel ones that you can just fold down. So I'm just not using a Ziploc. I'm like using like a good hardy bag. That's where it lives because I'm absolutely terrified of losing like a decade and a half of landscapes,
Sure.
like, oh God, I would cry. I would cry for a very long time. And also if you really, really want to keep them, like if they're small enough, I just scan them and start color matching them so I can print them like right away.
Uh-huh.
Like they're truest like when they're freshly done. So I just put it through a good scanner and make sure I get a really good digital copy of them. As soon as I'm done with it, like when I'm done with this one, I will either tonight or tomorrow just concentrate on taking a really good scan and trying to color match it as best as I can. So at least you have a digital copy, and that kind of gets the ball rolling too, to be able to send it out to make prints or make prints yourself. Or if you don't want to sell them, then at least you have an archive of them. As we enter, the I don't know, the apocalypse or whatever, if that's what we want to prepare for.
The great
Yeah.
unknown.
The great unknown. Yeah, since we're in the age of Aquarius, it's always good to keep your watercolors in a waterproof bag, Why not? During this, you know what? That's what we need to do is an apocalypse painting night. And
Oh
go,
yeah.
hi. And I can totally do like my own version of Bob Ross, but like a
Uh-huh.
Wisconsin mom or something. Oh, hey there. So during this apocalypse, if you really want to get out that old ink and pen, get out that old painting book.
Shit, you really do have the accent.
Oh, thanks. I'm just making fun of my grandma the whole time. Yeah, it's fun. But no, I mean, I feel like you know, for a second there with the digital stuff coming out, and I mean, there needs to be another renaissance of art. I'm feeling. I know it's always coming and going if we look at history.
Mhm.
But I feel like with everything going on right now, like I feel like this is our time, you know. I'm surprised there's not more punk rock music coming out, but I think punk is. But I feel like
Mhm.
artists are the ones to convey emotions, and with everyone right now having extreme emotions, because everyone, like every single person I've ever talked to, so I'm sorry if if you're not, and I'm not trying to gaslight anyone and saying that everyone's losing their shit, but if you are having extreme emotions, you're definitely not alone. And I feel like art is just our way that we can at least communicate somewhat or pass on some good feels to our friends and our family. Or like, I've been working on a painting for my dad, because I know it'll just like make him happy. Or at least like give him something else to look at other than the mundane of his house, he's
Sure.
quarantined or something. And that's actually why I started doing so many birds is during COVID.
Mm.
And we had to shut down shop and everything like that. I was going to do a bunch of really complicated paintings and sell those. But then I started doing some warm-ups with some birds, and I realized, well, man, these are really making people happy. What if I just like keep doing them? And since it was springtime while everything was happening, I was like, here's some spring birds, since none of us are outside enjoying spring, which was crazy to me. Like, why didn't we all go hiking more? I don't understand.
I've been hike. I've been. I take 2 walks every day, about
Oh, good.
7 miles for the last 3 or 4 years. So,
Oh,
um,
amazing. Good job.
but
I've been
I'm also.
kayaking. That's
Oh,
crazy.
nice.
Yeah, kayaking is amazing. Can't do watercolors out there. I mean, you could, but
What-
test the old skill level there. um, no, that's good. I knew so many people that just did not go outside, at all. I'm like, that's not what quarantining means. It's just you can go outside, just like stay away from
Stay away from
people.
people.
Yeah, just stay
Yeah.
away from people. People are like, I'm just locked up in my house. And I'm like, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
was
do.
very lucky
Oh,
for myself.
yes.
Like COVID didn't really even mess with my routines.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
I
not
mean, as
crazy.
a shut-in, I was living my best life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to also say too, like that's not. I mean, there was a lot of people in the city that really had no option to
Absolutely.
leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel very fortunate that I was in Oklahoma because there is space here. Like,
Yep.
you can just go 15 minutes and you're in the country. Um,
Yeah.
Even my place where I live, like I have this crazy place that's like 15 minutes from my studio and I have a tree line, like I can just go back there and I
Awesome.
don't know, look at shit. I don't know. There's deer, there's foxes, not everyone had that. And I'm really, really lucky that I was out here for
Yeah.
this. For sure.
Doing some interviews with there was like one heavy hitter in particular. And yeah, I just relayed to my guy, shit hit the fan for me like 4 years ago. So I haven't like talked to anybody in town, and I just walk around by myself talking to myself on the phone, anyways. And I was just I try not to make too much a light of it because I have had friends and friends of friends that have gotten fucked up over this, and some of them aren't here anymore. But but I was like, I did pretty good, and they were just like, yeah, well, I'm stuck in the fucking city, like. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, like, it doesn't make a difference how well off you are, if you're like in the middle of the city,
It sucks.
that sucks, and you're in a
sucks.
different experience.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you live in a high rise,
oh,
like holy shit, like if I live in a high rise and you can't go out, or like you have to like,
Oh, yeah. I always think I almost got into a high rise here that's like literally 5 minutes walking to my studio. And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, how cool would that be? But when I was in there, like, and this is the shitty thing about like everyone asked me why I moved to Oklahoma, because I had all these options to move to a city, or another city besides Tampa Bay. And I don't know, I just get this claustrophobic feeling like, what if there's a fire? What if there's like zombies or something?
Sure.
I want to be able to get out, you know? And the high rise feeling had that to me so bad that I was just like, that's not for me anymore. Maybe for young me, but
Right.
old me says no. And yeah, I think this is my year too that I'm trying to look for land. That's maybe like 25
Oh,
minutes out.
cool.
Yeah, because I'm gonna start building something um even more cave-like and
Uh-huh.
even more shut-in like. So my 3 kittens can have lots of space.
This is for
Yeah,
the home domicile or for the
yeah.
not for the studio, yeah.
No, not for the studio
Yeah.
yet. I
Yeah.
mean, the goal is to eventually like only be contacted by Raven and have my clients come out for three
Haha.
days. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Very Mari style esque tattoo adventure. Like, you will be here for 3 days. I will feed
Uh-huh.
you. I will bathe you. We will talk. We will drink wine. We will speak, and then we will
You,
tattoo.
you should
You know.
definitely check out Lady Sarah. Do you know Lady Sarah or her work?
Um,
Or
it sounds really familiar.
she's
What
from
is this?
Italy. She does like very collage style kind of awesome work. Like she can render out realism, but she's really really wicked artsy and all about the story, all about the
Mhm.
experience. And I put a clip of her up yesterday. Also, but when you were talking about the experience, I think you would appreciate the way that she does things. I'll have to send you a link or something so you can catch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I like seeing people do stuff like that just so I can know by example and hit
Yeah.
them up and ask their advice. Because I just recently made a buddy actually through Airbnb. Funny
Oh,
enough.
cool.
Yeah, like I went out there. I was gonna go out there with a partner, and then last minute change, I ended up being myself. And this woman was just like some soul creature of mine. And we got along like right off the bat. And she made her entire estate herself.
Oh shit.
And yeah, and like her husband does like some of the heavy lifting, but she's like, oh no, I just plowed this out, made this car. So it's like several acres, and she has her house that they made, and it's like a Hobbit home. It's gorgeous. It looks like Rivendell mixed with the Hobbits came together. And then
Awesome.
she's making all these tiny homes out there, look like little Hobbit holes.
Hmm.
And there's like jacuzzis, there's hot tubs, there's all these like gardens
Mm,
everywhere. Like, and it only took her 5 years from scratch,
that's
like
crazy.
nothing. Yeah. And I'm like, are you like, so I was like, okay, I can do that.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Because
I talked to her about,
you're like very handy.
oh yeah, yeah. I built out my
Yeah.
entire studio.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I'm still building actually. We just made 2 more rooms, which I'm really excited. And I'm about to
Nice.
epoxy a countertop. Oh yeah, and I'm
Uh-huh.
making my kitchen countertops too, which is cool.
Awesome.
Um, yeah. And as soon as I see someone do it and I know that I have at least someone I can call, and be like, well, how do I do this? Like, I know I'll be fine. Cause I mean, basically, yeah, like building this place, like I knew that I had so many friends that had built out their own shops and had already had all the mistakes, right? And
Uh-huh.
whatever you can do to limit mistakes while you're doing something is ideal. So you want to at least have your people, your reach outs, who can I reach out to? And I'm just, yeah, as soon as I find those connections, I know that I'm pretty good and pretty solid. So I kind of already have the blueprints made. And yeah, now I'm just finding the right piece of land with the right sunlight.
Awesome.
So yeah. Oh, and Oklahoma's still got it, so that's the next adventure. And really, I've just been waiting till the shop's like completely built out and everything is running smoothly without me always
Yeah.
here. Yeah, so it's getting there though. I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, it's been 3 years already, which is weird. It doesn't feel like it,
It can go
but
fast.
it can go very fast. Yeah, yeah, and then I'm sure sometime soon I'll be like, it's been 10 years. Weird.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, for real. Knock on wood. So far, everything's going smooth. But yeah, though, that's pretty good. I think I might, speaking about what you're speaking of, like getting out and getting exercise. And I run. I like, got some good running spots out here. But even if you just walking around talking aimlessly on your phone, that's pretty good.
You know, half the time I'm like, why the fuck am I on my phone while I'm walking around? And then I'm like, well, wait, otherwise I'd just be sitting down on my phone. Like,
Right. At least you're getting stuff done.
oh yeah, I'm always being productive on it.
Mhm.
I mean, unless the Instagram or Facebook suck me into the fucking their
Ugh.
energy suck.
It is an energy suck. But you know what? I've changed what I look at on Instagram, and that seems to help. Before it was all cats and tattoos. And now I've looked up a lot of DIY. I've looked up a lot
cool.
of I forced the algorithm to show me
Yep.
more art
Yeah,
and
cool.
statues and stuff like that. So
Sure.
if you find, for those listening, if you find yourself getting in an Instagram hole just for a day, like change the algorithm, go look at other stuff.
Yep.
You know, force it to like show you something else other than your direct peers' work, because they'll drive you crazy.
Yeah. You know, it's sorry, just to that point, it's really funny sometimes opening up an incognito window or going on like a random computer that isn't logged in and going to YouTube or something just to see what it shows, like random people like without any sort of history.
Mhm.
It's actually relatively disappointing, as you can imagine, but
yeah, it's like you know, it's the question of like, oh wow, like YouTube's really good. There's always got stuff that I like. It's always it's always really entertaining. And then you realize, oh, because it's been tracking you and monitoring you this whole time. Of course it knows what you like. You know, and it's kind of like interesting to see like a fresh one, you know, like what does it give you?
So let's see. What I've got here now is no amount of therapy will make this scene okay. By Stinky Face, 8.3 million views was the very first video. The second one is, let's see, it's showing it's like a yellow Lamborghini and a black-haired woman with short shorts. The title is Gold Digger Pranks What Went Too Far. Gold Digger Pranks That Went Too Far.
Oh.
Then the next that's from SSS Sniper Wolf.
This sounds like Idiocracy, like or like a Rick and Morty type search. Like,
well, the next, this isn't a search. This is just a homepage.
This is the homepage. Oh,
yeah, this is like a blank homepage. This is what it's sending. We've got Street Beef's title match, Baby Hulk versus the Viking.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's Street Beef's. They've got 31 million views.
Oh wow.
Okay. Oh, 10 million views. The Gold Digger Pranks got 10 million views.
I mean, It's not like bum fights, you know. At least
it's not.
No, it's not bum fights, but we could be better, people. We could do better. Maybe. That's what maybe. Yeah, I've been Yeah.
Sorry, we can do better, but we might not be able to if YouTube has its way.
Right. Yeah, if YouTube just doesn't keep beating the masses, whatever it thinks we want to look at, and I think that's the problem too. Like, why isn't there like a person saying, "Hey, there's some news going on. Maybe that should be on the homepage." Maybe some world news should be important.
Let's see.
But it goes off of the views.
Four rows down. Well, it's the third row is breaking news.
Oh, okay.
So we've got Hurricane Ida on the first two. We've got Justin, Louisiana governor, speaks about it's all about the hurricane. It sounds like the hurricane was pretty fucking horrible. The New Orleans was all.
I haven't checked in today yet.
Power.
Yeah. Oh dear, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. Oh man, do you remember that, Katrina?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there. I did New Orleans a couple years before that, and I have not been down there since then. But yeah, I
man,
was.
oof,
That's horrifying. You know, the
yeah.
amount that people don't seem to give a shit, like the people that have power and money, and
Mhm.
the
FEMA camps and the yeah,
uh,
like oh, they're terrible. The nice man I told you about that was one of the people who taught me was actually a Katrina survivor. And this happened to a lot of tattooers in Louisiana where their entire shop and house was
right,
flooded. So
sure,
they had no machines, they had no portfolio, they had nothing. And I remember it was Justin Swafford. Hey Justin, if you're listening. Hey Julie, if you're listening. Um, I remember I was still an apprentice, and this is how much of a junkie my boss was.
I know.
I was an apprentice, and he was like, the boss just went, cool, cool, cool. You talk to him. I was like, okay. So he was so cool, and he was so nice, and his wife had enough tattoos by him that I could judge that he was by far the best tattooer in the town at that point. Um, and I was like, oh, you can most definitely work here. And so I kind of gave him the down low, like this is what's going on, you know. He was like,
Uh-huh.
cool, whatever. Let's do this. And so kind of in trade of that, he took me under his wing, and thank God, because I was just learning on my own at that point. And he really kind of like taught me the fundamentals and taught me traditional pretty well.
Awesome.
But that happened so much. There were so many people that were completely dismantled, you know, like completely like lost everything.
Yeah.
I ended up buying a what we called it was a Katrina car. I got it for like $2,000, and we also called it the death trap. But you can see the like the water line where it was flooded. And
Oh
so
shit.
there's companies that would just go down Louisiana and just haul off cars and fix them up and selling them for cheap.
Oh, Jesus.
And it was like a good opportunity to get a really
Right.
shitty cheap car.
Nice.
You know, yeah. And I was an apprentice, so I was like, I just need like to go to Kingpin, and I just need to go to because Kingpin was like I was in the trifecta, I was in the triangle of tattoo shops. So Kingpin was literally like 15 minutes away from the studio.
Nice.
Oh yeah, spoiled rotten with how many tattoo supply companies were in that area.
Right in Florida, yeah, because Lucky's is right around there too, maybe. Or
Lucky's is right. Yeah, that's about 30 minutes away. There's Diversified, which is right over the bridge. What else is there? Diversified, Lucky's, Kingpin. There's like Apple something. But yeah, it was those top three that were there. And so yeah, you didn't have to go far for anywhere in that town.
Awesome.
So a lot of people really took advantage of that. But I really hope Louisiana, I really hope you make it through.
Yeah.
Because that was terrible. And afterwards, I drove through that afterwards, and wow. Yeah, wow.
That's horrible.
Wow,
I did see Ground Zero for maybe like 3 weeks after 9/11. The New Jersey Tattoo Convention was going on. That's actually when we launched Tattoo Now officially. I've been working on websites for a couple of years before that, but we were like officially launching on Mario Barth show there, and we went to go see the fucking crater. That was crazy.
I remember. I was in high school, but I was always reading about tattoo festivals and stuff because I knew I was a weirdo. I didn't know I would be tattooing, but I knew I was going to get tattoos soon. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, all those tattoos, I've never seen this. You know, like, I don't know. I was very,
so your camera seems to have gone vertical again.
Oh, poop. Here, let me do this. Boop. And
there we go. Perfect.
There we go. Perfect. It does what it wants. It's an iPhone.
Let's see. Melissa Sinks, 20 minutes, not 20 minutes ago, like 5 minutes ago, was laughing. She says, haha. Wait, she says haha, but she wasn't LOLing. What's the difference between haha and LOL?
What is it?
Maybe she'll tell us.
Yeah, what's the difference?
There we go. Okay. Well, okay. So let me reset here. I've tuned my Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest to all show me all sorts of inspirational content video, images, and projects, etc. That's great. That's much better because the only thing that mine fucking feeds me is Afghanistan or fucking COVID.
Oh, Afghanistan. So God. Can we all have a moment of groaning for Afghanistan right now? Oh, God. I've been trying to tell younger clients too what's going on and explain to them, and I just can't. I can't figure out the words.
Oh my lordy! I didn't even think about. You know what? I didn't think about the fact that, like, if you weren't alive to watch fucking Bush get us into this shit show, then you wouldn't necessarily have a frame of reference to understand just who's responsible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, or even like, okay, that we lost a lot of service people over there.
Horrifying.
But, I mean, that was my generation. I graduated in 2003. So when we graduated, every single man that I knew had and female had the question of, am I going to go over there? Yeah, we all thought we were going to get drafted. And I can't tell you how many friends I've lost because of that. Like within the first month, I lost 6 friends in a desert, like in a sandstorm.
Sure.
It was a fucking sandstorm, like, and so trying to explain to these kiddos that have not experienced, like, from phase 1, like, 20 years ago, like when this all started, like explaining to them like the relevance and like why like this is so crucial, and why this is so, I still don't have the words for the emotion, I guess, that I'm feeling for it. Like, I'm glad it's a very complicated, harsh reality of how our world functions. And oh man.
I mean,
oh man,
life isn't fair.
No, it's not.
That's all there is to it. Like, to have people, I mean, sacrifice their life, for that endeavor. There's no way to there's just no way to reconcile it.
No.
Like, there's unless we can learn to not do that fucking shit again.
Yeah, can we just stop doing that shit? Can we just, because I think we're just perpetuating the problem sometimes. Often. Everyone has to have a reaction. We all have to have egos that are connected to a reaction based off of, well, I got to show this person that we have boundaries here, where when can you walk away?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with money. I mean, it was not I guess we don't want to turn this into a political show, but like, it doesn't seem like it was a failure for the people that made the money.
Yeah. And, there was a lot of success to what we did, but in the monetary sense, for sure. Like, whoever had their hands in the pocket, then they were fine. I
mean, it was the same thing in Vietnam, like war. I mean, if there's a profit to be made off of war, then that is what the outcome will be. I mean, that's all there is to it. And I mean, again, it's just so sad that the administration made this this is not this administration, but the Bush administration fucking led us into this shit.
Yeah,
it's fucking insanity. And it was not like, I mean, there were voices that were talking about it when it was going on, and you could almost pretty much just say, look, whatever. I don't know. My Facebook post is, I'm already against the next war. You might be able to convince me that it's just, but for the most part, like, there hasn't been a just one in fucking a long ass time.
No, there really, really hasn't. And I'm kind of nervous, actually, and I don't want this to be a political talk either. But I mean, I think everyone can kind of agree. And again, just to reiterate, this is not like when people die from our country doing a job overseas like this, like, it sucks a lot. And I always feel for the families because, like, I've been there, I've been there. And you can't make it up. You can't, like, fix it. There's nothing in the world that can fix it, revenge or whatever. But I was very terrified when our president said, you know, after the bombing happened over there, you know, 13 members of our service were killed alongside Afghani people that were trying to leave. Like the whole, like, this will not be forgiven and this will not be forgotten. And then we, you know, drone like bomb them. And then we
Yeah.
just say, oh, the enemy that the target that we wanted was killed. Brava. I'm like, or did we just fuck up some other innocent people that are now going to hate us even more? You
Yeah,
know,
a self-perpetuating mess.
right. It is. And it, now that, yeah, I'm older, and now that I'm sick of war. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the blood. I'm sick of the war, you know. I'm sick of just hearing more and more of the common people dying for money, you know,
Yeah.
for financial gain, for other people's investments that are, they could have been more creative, you know.
The amount of money, like,
Oh,
well, again, like you can see where it goes, and I guess just to try to bring it back to art or something, I guess in some sense, it's like, you know, there's so many wiser investments that can be made into, you know, things that compound positive effects, right? Like,
right.
I don't
Especially
know.
nowadays with the apocalypse and our environment going to shit, you know. I mean, I think there could be a dragon literally coming out of the ocean and some rich guy going, how can I make money off of this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to your point, like if we took the same investments and the same people and the same brains and frankly even using a lot of the same technologies, you know, and focus them on, you know, Edwards, on helping our, you know, instead of blowing shit up and trying to invade
Right.
other countries, like let's you know, take that same technology and create energy as opposed to expending it. And
Right. Like it's you know, once the resources are growing thin, that's when people fight for it, you know, but I don't feel like we're there yet. We see it coming, but yet the only thing we know how to do collectively is fight instead of come together and reinvent. And that's where I'm disappointed the most, because I remember growing up and it was good to be scholarly, it was good to be mindful, it was good to be all these things. And all of a sudden, the world changed and everyone was obsessed about being a patriot and fighting and proving their own ego. And like, where did that cool, positive stuff go? Because I remember it really clearly.
Mm.
You know, like everyone's like, oh yeah, we're going, you know, we're figuring out how to go green. Like electric cars were like being a rumor, you know, like, and then all of a sudden it just went away. And then, oh, we're in war and this, and shitty things are happening. And Jerry Springer is more popular than ever. And oh God, I did have a talk like that the other day with my client. I was like, when did it all start failing? And I was like, Jerry Springer.
well,
And
are you sure? So if it was Jerry Springer, what was Geraldo Rivera was,
oh yeah.
and I think that Geraldo got his nose broken on
Yes.
TV.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, Jerry
And
was another. Yeah, the whole, that's a glorification
people,
of.
yeah, and of Floridians. You know, they pick those people up like a county away from me.
No, I didn't, but
Oh yeah, they're all from Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, Pasco County, and that is where I grew up and watched people set themselves on fire. Sometimes metaphorically,
yeah.
literally, you know, whatever. And that, like, the American public shouldn't have that as an example, or young children shouldn't have that as an example of how to live. You know, those people do meth professionally for a long time to get that way, you know, and now it's, you know, that, I mean, gosh, you know, that's, yeah, a lot of people see that and they see it as normal. And then I remember like that being a thing before 9/11. I remember that we were getting hated on pretty hard um by foreign entities. And it was explained to me, it's like, yeah, all they see from America is this gluttony, you know, that's all they see of us. They don't see us being like them. They see us being like MTV, you know, Spring Break, and they see Jerry Springer, and they see, because they, as soon as like a foreign entity would get American TV, they would see the example of ourselves that we put out. And I think that's, yeah, I would hate it. I was like, oh, I totally get it why they hate us. You know, they look like we're just children wasting our resources and having everyone else suffer around the world. And we're just like, you know, rolling in the dough and being
Right.
crazy, you know.
And that's only 20% of America. It's not all of us.
Yeah, that's not all of us. I've had to explain that so many times internationally too. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, I mean, God, there was one time that me and this girl from the Netherlands really thought we were going to get murdered. And we were
no.
hostile buddies. Yeah. And this was in New Zealand. And we were hostile buddies. And we all actually all got along. We had I had the coolest hostile moment ever. And because it was like a room full of girls. And I looked around like, where are we all from? And there was like one from China, there was one from Germany, there was one from the Netherlands, there was one from Iraq, and we're all, whoa,
Awesome.
yeah. And so we all sat in a circle and we all talked about our home countries and our lives. And the girl from China was really happy. And we were all really surprised. We're like, oh, cool. And we were actually really similar to Iraq after she talked. I was like, oh, wow, we have some similarities. But so we were in this little tour of the town. We were looking for glowworms, and this guy was just drunk and bitter and angry and hated Americans, hated everybody. And like he just like blasted off some stuff. He was like, oh yeah, it's some tourists in here from Texas. And they were like, well, it's so much bigger here in Texas. They were just basically complaining the whole time. And I was like, well, dude, everyone knows that Texas wants to recede. Like, that's not the rest of the fucking country. Like, your country is the size of Florida, you know? Like,
sure.
Yeah, like, give us a chance, geez.
It is amazing how many people there are in America and how big it is. Like, you know,
it's so big.
Part of it is like, why does Texas have to get along with Vermont? Like,
yeah, it doesn't at all. You know, I've met some Floridians here in Oklahoma, and we all have the same thing to say, you know, about like, wow, Oklahomans don't know how to handle Floridians sometimes. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Because it's a different culture. If you go like 1,000 miles away, you're in a different culture. Boom, there you go. It's going to be different. Sure. And we try to be respectful. And I think that's the key, is try to be respectful no matter where you go, because nothing is like your home. Nowhere at all, you know.
Yep, inherently.
Yeah. And I feel like, yeah, we are a little spoiled here. And I think it's changing, especially since all the current events. Everyone is in the know now. You know, I've met more enlightened people, even though now we have a whole new thing with the anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers, you know. Then now we have another separation to tackle. Great. But I feel like people are like hearing the news more and being a little bit more aware. I hope so, because I really like international travel.
Yeah, it'd be great to get back out of the country again. I'm praying that it works out in November for Brussels, but you know, it was definitely like I thought there for like 3 weeks earlier this year. I'm like, wow, somehow, despite the fact that America seems to want to like eat itself, we got our shit together. Like, you know,
yeah,
and then
like really excited.
2 weeks later, it's like, yeah, no.
And I'm like, oh, and it was one of those like, oh, I knew that, but did I?
Yeah, it took me a little by surprise. I was like, oh, why did I? Yeah, it took me a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, I signed myself. I am signed up for both health studies next year. I set aside some time to go to the UK. I really want to do a paint about, as I'm calling it, around Prague. That's like one of my bucket list things to do.
Hell yeah.
And I'm just hoping I can go like safely. I mean, I could stay away from people, no problem. But I mean, yeah, I did set up some stuff, and I was kind of like, oh, hogwash, you know. But we can just see how it goes. That's all we can do. It's just like, all right, whatever. Just one thing at a time.
Yep.
One day at a time.
I was pretty psyched. We got a booth for Hell City. I was pretty psyched about that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm really,
Yeah.
really excited. I can't believe it's already been 2 years since the last one. And then, I mean, what an experience, you know.
Yeah, they're wicked fun.
Wicked fun. I mean, I was pretty much there by myself. Because I went with my sponsorship company, you know. And so I mean, I of course, thank God I mean, it's a really big show. If you've done shows, you'll probably find someone that you know. But I was like, it was still huge. It was since I've done mostly villain art shows. It was like a whole like horde of people that I was like, oh my God, I've heard of you, but I've never met you. So let's jam. Like I was just like really, really excited to meet some new people. And Derb is awesome. Derb was on top of it the whole time.
Yeah,
And I've just heard of his legacy, you know.
yeah, his eye for detail and every step of the way is pretty sick. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I hope that it goes fine because man, I almost cried, but you can get this like as a young tatter as myself. I was asked to judge for the San Antonio one on Sunday for Bax. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I just kind of like had a moment of like, oh my
Awesome.
yeah. Like this is the coolest thing that has ever happened to me,
Yeah.
you know?
You're like, wait, I get to be the one to bring the contests?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I am proficient judger, sir.
Awesome. Yeah. Actually, I'm
no biased opinion.
you know, I'm not that bad either because I'm so odd like that. I am so computer driven. It's like I don't give a fuck who did it. I'll just, you know, I don't give a fuck about the politics.
Tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm so autistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Spectrum that I'm like, I don't know you, I don't care.
Or I do know you. The thing is, for me, it's like even if I know you, I'll judge you twice as hard. Like,
oh yeah.
But that's not fair necessarily. If you're in like at a Hell City, I don't know if I've ever judged a Hell City, but like I've judged other shows. But.
Well, yeah, and I take Hell City pretty seriously just for the artists that are there. And it puts it in a whole different perspective, you know, like when I was there, my buddy was like, oh, you're going to put that piece in? I was like, oh, no. And he was like, well, at least do it. I was like, okay. But I mean, the caliber of artists there, I mean, painters, tattooers, I mean, you have a lot more fine art minded people there. So you're going to see that next level of commitment to their tattoos. And I mean, oh my God, like, you know, it was my first time doing the show. I was like happy that I was, you know, at least I was booked pretty quickly. So it is a good financial show, you know, and I got to do some really cool pieces. Where normally I'm like very comfy at a tattoo convention, you know, I come in, I already have things like booked out. And, you know, that one I just kind of like, well, I'm just going to do it and it'll be fine.
Awesome.
And it was. So yeah, it's a good all around show. You're going to see some really like good artists, but also if you're going as a tattooer for the first time or, you know, not booked out, it's a busy show. So prepare to work. The San Antonio one though is just a lot of fun. You know, with the pools and I don't know how they're going to do that, but we'll see how that goes. And it was awesome just to be in like a Frank Lloyd Wright, you know, hotel throughout the entire event.
Oh yeah. So this is Phoenix.
The Phoenix one. Oh my God, like so cool. That building is so cool. I just walked around for hours just looking at the little details. But I'm a huge fan of Frank Lloyd Wright, so I cared a lot.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Have you seen? You must have seen Fawn's back piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
it's pretty sick.
Pretty sick. Yeah. Yeah, I have one guy that wants to book out the weekend, so I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of his idea though, and I might jump on that. But you know, hopefully, I just hope everything goes through well because I know, you know, I also know like what these, you know, people have to go through to put these events on, you know, and I am really glad that Derb chose 2022. Like I know a lot of people didn't get that option with their events. You know, they had to put it on this year.
Yeah,
you know, they're kind of pressured into it.
Everyone's getting the squeeze. Like if you have something committed, like basically if you can do a show, you have to do the show. Otherwise, you lose your dough.
Yeah. Oh man. Actually, I was going to do the Indie Expo. And I love Chris a lot. He's a really nice guy, and I had to step out because of personal reasons, and I had to tell him like what's going on. His secretary was like, "We all have shit going on. You have to come." And I was like, "No, you don't really understand."
Oh,
And so I got to talk with him, and he was like, "Oh my God, yeah, that's fine." I was like, "Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but besides COVID, I really can't."
yeah.
And he was really, really lenient with me, and I'm really, really thankful for that because I would have. I mean, I'm a, I try to think of myself as a ride or die with, my people. Like, oh, no, I'm coming. If I say I'm coming, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I like to be dependable on that, even if I'm having an emotional breakdown. It's fine.
Like, oh,
Um,
speaking of, did you check out the needle jig video, the tattoo convention's needle jig video?
no. Oh, actually, yes. I saw that I was on the front of it.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. We just released it like a week ago, maybe. It's awesome.
Oh, that's good. I saw the first 30 minutes, and I think it's on my playlist of things to watch.
Oh, you probably stopped it just before you came on.
Oh my gosh, then yeah, I need
But,
to. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm nervous. I think that's what it was. I was like, oh God, I'm tattooing and I'm nervous. Oh God, I'm not gonna tattoo.
Funny.
Oh my God, that's me. Oh God.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
your voice and everything. Yeah, I think I have like 6 minutes in
God.
it.
Oh my God. Why do you guys do this? No, I'm thankful, but I still get very nervous.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. I luckily enough, I haven't frozen completely by doing these things. Like painting is easy. Like I can talk while I tattoo as well and just do it. But any kind of interview type thing, I kind of do freeze up a little bit and then I'm fine.
Yeah, it didn't seem like you froze up at all, but
Oh, cool. Thanks. Just as long as you guys can't tell, then it's worth it. But that's
I mean,
good because I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things with conventions that a lot of people like. I remember my first time going to a convention, I was just like, oof, I just held on. Um, and I didn't have a lot of stuff that I wish I had. And that takes a lot of, that takes a lot of time just building up those little tricks and trying to make sure that you've got everything down pat and you're as professional as you possibly can. And so thanks. That was a lot of info I know that I added on that. So I'm glad that it is helpful.
oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. That was great. Yeah,
Oh, good. Good.
it's one of my favorite videos that we've done for the checklist. Oh, I don't know. Well, you should check the YouTube description too, because the convention checklist is awesome.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw that that's a good idea to really, really like point out the checklist. 100%. I listened to a little bit of Mike Chambers
Mhm.
stuff, and I was like, oh, good, good, good. So he brought up some really good key points too about how to position your flash and stuff. That's stuff that I don't think I talked about. So that's good. He's got a lot of good stuff. God, I've known Mike forever too. We're all getting so old, Gabe. It's awesome.
We don't get any younger.
No, that's true. That is true. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. No, I am really though, um, I'm quite excited. And even doing that villain art show that I did, like Troy talked me into it. He called me. He's like, "Are you doing the show?" And I'm like, I don't have it planned." He was like, "You're a dick." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And so it was good to see friends. It was good to see, like, it was good to have like a little bit of my element back,
Yeah,
because that's like where I first like really found myself is with the conventions as an artist. Like I
sure.
realized that my shop does not promote me like the way that I wanted to. Like I am like I I really realized that I was just surviving in shops and that I did have other options as a tattooer and artist. Like I started tattooing so I could continue painting um
Uh-huh.
because my, life was not like I was working for the newspaper, and we're all old enough to realize what happened in the newspaper.
Yep.
So
Writing's on the
that's what
roll.
yeah, that's what I happened to. That's what I helped out in. I was the last gen at the paper. um but I couldn't paint. Like it was so busy all the time that I couldn't like I had no time. It was like I was at work till 4 a.m. and and then I was in college before that. So I was like, this is it's exhausting. So I didn't realize that I had all these options, and I really found my community within the travel community, even though I don't travel as much as they do. But man, like it was really refreshing to be around my peeps, even though I mean, I didn't hang out, I didn't do anything. I literally like Irish goodbye every single day. They're like, you hanging out? Nope.
Gotta go. Thank you.
I live here. Nope. I've got 3 kittens. I gotta go. Bye. And I was bottle feeding them at the time. So I had to go.
Bottle feeding the kids.
Oh yeah, since the last time I talked to you. So I grieved, and my coworker gave me 3 2.5-week-old kittens to help with my grieving. And I'm gonna have to say that even though that was the worst because it was exhausting, and you have to feed them literally every hour. So imagine that, like every hour.
3 different kittens too.
3 different, yeah, it was like this cycle that you had to keep up. And like I brought them to work some days because I couldn't get my neighbor to help me, and like had like my clients helping me feed them, and like it was just crazy. But it did really help with grieving. Yeah, it really helped because I had no time to think about it, and now that they're older, I'm having time to think about it, and now they're like these wonderful squishes that just love me, and I can grieve with them, and it's wonderful. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been kittening. I've been building, shopping, doing the shop, and then going home to kittens.
Awesome.
Baby kittens. Yeah, and they're great. They're great. But I will not be doing any filming at home until they learn their manners. Because
Shit.
yeah, just imagine they're like little furry torpedoes with paws.
Nice. Our last puppy that we got, it took him like 2 years to figure out how to pee in the house and not to like be very food defensive. But then we realized that our next door neighbor, like they have this big ass yard, fenced in yard. We have a pretty good yard. Not complaining about our yard, but they have a fenced in yard, and they had another dog, so we'd be able to bring Iggy over, and he'd be able to run around without escaping.
Yay.
But so then at one point I was over there, and the lady was like, today when he was in the house, we had his diaper on like normal, but we fed him some eggs. I cooked him up some eggs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're putting a diaper on him? I mean, he's a small little dog, but he doesn't need a diaper. But like, you need to train him how not to pee in the house. We're trying to train him how not to pee in the house, but he keeps peeing in our house. Like, and then we realized that he wasn't actually just a bad, stupid dog, that he was going to our neighbors and having an indoor diaper put on and being fed human food.
Oh my God. So I think that'll do it. That'll make any dog shit.
So we stopped letting that happen as much. And then all of a sudden, magically, he started peeing and pooping outside.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. So she had like diapers? She had like big ass diapers just hanging out?
I don't know. They're like little doggy diapers. I mean, it's not a very big dog. He's like a 15-pound dog.
Okay. I was imagining like, wait, she had adult diapers just hanging out, and she had none of them for dogs? That's weird.
They must have been little doggy diapers or something. But
that's so weird. Oh man.
Yeah. I'm gonna screen share my dog real quick.
Oh yeah, sure.
There's a little puppy.
Oh, I can't do that. I'm using my phone to record. But if anyone wants to see the kittens, anytime,
yes, we do.
They're on my story, and I usually have one video or a photo of them on there on Instagram.
Awesome.
Every day. I mean, they're just full of cute photo ops. That's what they're good for.
And getting rid of the mice too, right?
Yeah. Oh yes. And making sure that I wake up at 6 a.m. So they really keep me on track.
Yeah. No. I don't mind. I usually get up very, very early, but Iggy will, like you said, make sure that by 6 o'clock, everyone's up if they're up at 5.
They're up. Yep, they're up. Well, I used to wake up at 7 and I used to go run. So 6 is just, okay, now I have some meditation time.
Awesome. Do you actually use it to meditate, or?
No, I
No,
usually
okay.
use it to wrangle them or cuddle them, or,
Oh,
make sure they're cool before I go to work.
awesome.
Yeah.
Meditation, it does sound like it would be probably necessary for one of our next steps or breakthroughs, just kind of training the mind to
Hmm.
not be monkey mind.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know if anyone else, but it's been harder for me to meditate the older I get. Like, it takes me harder to kind of break through whatever it is I'm trying to meditate on. Like, I don't know, I find myself meditating when I am running or when I am tattooing,
Yeah.
or like I'm able to visit the cosmos when I'm like, already infatuated with something else. But if I'm just concentrating in silence, it's I don't know, it's kind of weird. I've talked with one of my coworkers here, and we've been really trying to think of a different kind of morale that we can do, because all the morale that we had set up that was big is like, it's not going to happen. Like, um I got some tool tickets, before the COVID. We had all these dinners. Like, we all like to go dancing sometimes together. We
Yeah.
haven't been able to do
Yeah.
that. So I'm like, what if we just like go in some like deprivation tanks together? We all just go on some eggs and
Oh,
just like
yeah.
have silence together. And like half the shop is like down. The other half is like, I don't know about that. But I think I need it. I think, yeah. I've never been in the egg before.
No, me
And
neither. We have a spot
yeah,
here in East Hampton that does it.
I think we should all try it. I think it'd be cool. I don't know, like, just have silence, absolute silence for like an hour. What is that?
Well, it's in its weightlessness and
Yeah, weightlessness, and oh, that's kind of weird, but cool.
perfectly dark too, right?
Yeah. Perfectly dark. I mean, oof, my mind's gonna roll on and on and on. I might finish that painting that I've been having problems with. Who
Oh,
knows? Anything could happen. And that's, yeah, I've been trying to meditate, especially since COVID, but I don't know, I've just been struggling a little bit with it.
yeah.
Um,
I have a hard time. I mean, to your point, like sometimes when I'm taking my walks or whatever, I do my best to just empty the thoughts that come through. I don't really meditate
mhm.
on things. I try to meditate to just clear the brain and focus on the senses and the sensory input, not
Be
the
in the
thoughts
now,
that
be
are
in the
coming in.
present.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good tool. It's hard to be in the present sometimes. Especially, I've realized this actually getting tattooed myself recently with my tattooer. Because we're pretty friends, we're pretty close friends. And sometimes I'll catch him like saying the same stories like over and over again. And I realize that, like, I even do it myself, like when we're tattooing people, like just to be able to relax and still make conversation. We have like these designated stories that we know are PG enough and not weird enough, and like not like it won't cause your client anxiety or anything, but we just keep telling the same story to people. Um,
Oh man, my
and
wife is like, I think I've only had 3 stories for the last 20 years.
yeah, exactly. Like, and I think we do that because like it's so hard just to be in the present with your client, because you're concentrating obviously on their tattoo. And you have to be in the present with that stuff, like you'd be very much in the present and be decisive when you're tattooing. So it's hard to even talk to people the same. So yeah, I've just like, I don't know, it's just like a weird random like realization of like, I'm like, at first I took offense. I was like, does he not remember telling me this? And then realized, oh no, this is just his story. This is just
Uh-huh.
his thing that he does. Like, and I have mine. I talk about my cats, mostly.
The goal is to try to keep the stories as consistent as possible so that
Yes. Oh God. Yeah, because I mean, we've all worked next to that person that just tells too much too, and then their client is like, I'm uncomfortable. This is not even cool.
no.
So, no, that's a good way to keep yourself in the present, is just push out like the thoughts and then take in the smells and the sights and the, you know,
Sounds and
mhm,
feel the
smells.
wind in your face.
Mhm. I like that.
Hearing the fucking sounds of the neighbors fucking bitching at each other.
Mm,
No, wait, you're
beautiful.
supposed to let that flow over you.
Oh yes, flow over. That's nature. Why not?
Oh.
Yeah, that's totally part of nature. Oh yes. See, in Florida, we had the clapping bushes. Oh, you hear the clapping bushes, and it was just a junkie shooting up in your
I'm like,
bushes.
clapping. I don't know the clapping bushes.
Yeah, what's the clapping? I love that. That's actually one of my favorite Floridian stories of like, oh, do you hear like whenever you take someone and you hear it, you know, they're looking around like, what is that? I'm like, oh, sacred clapping bushes. And then you pull apart like a tree branch and you're like, see, and you're like, oh my God,
Oh
there's a
shit! Wait a
person in there.
minute.
Yeah. Wait, what? I'm like, yeah, you're just shooting up heroin. It's cool.
They don't even mind
Living
us
his life.
looking.
No, they don't even mind. Hey, what's going on? Oh, he's asleep now. It's fine. Yeah. It's all part of nature.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So let's see. What am I doing with this painting right now? Let's see. Still building up stuff. One thing I do different is I really make my birds the clearest point. Like I make them as sharp looking as possible, so they really look like they're in the front. So before you can kind of see me swishing around with my flat brush, swish, 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 swish. And that makes it a little loosey-goosey. And then I get real tight and try to make everything super bright. And I don't dilute anything. So my colors are really high saturated, like colors. I try to make it really bright and poppy. And actually, this is a really interesting thing that I didn't realize I was doing for a really long time, even in tattooing. And it's affected the way I paint too. But I do have all these bright like palettes like that I use for everything. And you know what will make you do that? Just unaware. Um, Tattooing in Florida and tattooing really dark skin all the time. You know, either just sun beat or Hispanic or not. And you have to kind of pump up the contrast and the saturation of your colors. And so, if anyone's ever wondered about that, that's what I'm doing. Um, and I just see things like full chroma like that. I just see the world a little bit brighter and a little bit clearer. I don't know what that is, but I do, you know. And kind of concentrating on that, like you don't even realize how bold and poppy you're making things. Where I see a lot of painters subduing a lot, and I just don't even do that unless it's intended, you know. I just naturally go for not necessarily out of the tube because that's a rule that's forever in place in my brain. You know, I'll mix and mix and mix, but I'm trying to make the most vibrant colors I can while I do it, even though it's not necessarily what's naturally there. Like I'm just amping everything up. Oh, I just got LASIK, and if there's any artists out there that's thinking about getting it, I don't mind talking about it. If anyone has any questions on that, because I was pretty
Yeah.
blind. Yeah.
What's the cutoff on the age? I think I'm just about at the cutoff of the age
Oh,
for
you
getting
are?
it. By the time I
know. Are you?
afford the money, 46.
Oh, um, maybe. You know, I have a really nice payment plan with mine.
Mm, I
That's
might
how
be
they
able to
got
finagle
me.
that. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's how I think I'm gonna pay like $150 a month forever. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a discussion that I had with my optometrist, and I know the man wasn't lying to me because with LASIK meant that I don't have to go to him as much. So he's losing out on a client and money that
Uh-huh.
he's had for a really long time. So
Right.
he told me that I'm a candidate and I most definitely should get it because I was going pretty blind.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And like my up close vision was just dead on and still is. But far away, I was having some panic attacks trying to drive home because it all looked like the Nintendo like Galaxy race.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
sure. Because you weren't wearing glasses, or that was with glasses?
Oh, that was with glasses. My
Holy shit,
stigmatism
yeah.
was so bad. Yeah, and everything was flares and everything was fuzzy. I couldn't see streetlights, and I was going to the optometrist like every 6 months to up my prescription. It was
Ugh.
pretty stupid. Yeah, and it was just eye strain, and I was getting headaches because I had like occupational lenses for tattooing, and then I had my regular lenses, and it was just getting aggressive. So I just like within like I think like a month I just made the decision. And so I went and they were like, when do you want to get this done? I'm like, when you got? And they're like, next week. I'm like, cool,
Oh
let's
shit.
do it. Yeah. So I just did it. And I really kind of love it. I would take some days off. I did tattoo the next day.
You tattooed the next day after LASIK?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were able to see that well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little scratch. It felt like I had contacts in too long.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
I was a little dry, you know, so you have to keep putting drops in for like 2 to 3 weeks. But I was kind of dry, kind of crispy. And I mean, I was tired by the end of the day. Like I wouldn't pick like a complicated piece, you know.
Right.
Like I was just filling in flowers, you know. I was just like I could see, you know. And they were more illustrative flowers too. So if I was doing like hyper realism or something, I would definitely have rescheduled. But
Sure.
no, totally doable. You know,
It's awesome.
yeah, super awesome. And even like right now, I'm like, oh, I'm still like surprising myself. You know,
Yeah, I can see.
I can still see. Oh, good. And as an art, I mean, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you, Gabe. Like, I remember like just being on the field and like it like raining subtly, and I was supposed to like catch all these bugs and like draw this thing and do all this stuff, and I like couldn't because I was just blind. You
Couldn't
know,
see it.
like I couldn't see what was going on, or the stars, couldn't see those. That sucked.
Mm.
And now I can see them, and they are quite pretty.
They're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. I've only seen pictures of them, and I'm like, oh, these look so cool. Leaves
That's
super
awesome.
far away. Oh my gosh, amazing. So yeah, as an artist, I was really terrified. But the choice of being terrified just kind of came. The decision was made for me by my optometrist. So I had to do it, and it was not scary at all. And you know, I can take eye torture because I'm a girl of like four siblings, and my older sisters would just like torment me with my makeup, and you know, so eye torture is fine.
Right.
But yeah, you know,
My older brother used to spit in my eye. What's a laser?
Oh yeah, what's a laser? That's nothing. He used to spit in your eye.
No, that was my friend's brother that did that. I didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
I'm an only child.
I'm like, Gabe, I will come up there and I will help you pin down your brother. Spit in his eye.
No, this is my buddy. His brother's got bigger issues to deal with now.
Oh yeah,
it definitely scarred him for life.
yeah, it would scar anybody for life.
I don't know.
What's a laser compared to that? Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing. But no, I'm really surprised, like how well I can see still up close. Like it's focusing is different. Like I think I'm like using different muscles to focus now.
Sure.
But that's about it. Like that I got over that real fast. And oh man, this is something because something I learned off of Nick Baxter's writings when I was really young tattooing. And he talks about like when to relax your eyes when you're tattooing and how, you know. And so I didn't realize like my glasses were actually like a weird crutch for that for a really long time. And like I couldn't do it the same without my glasses. Like I can let them blur out, I can let them relax when I need to, but I just do it differently now. Like I think I would just like let them blur out and let them relax by like just like letting my eyes just kind of drift off in my glasses. And now I have to like concentrate on doing it. It's really bizarre. Yeah, it's really bizarre. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the field of vision must be pretty intense too. Like I'm just looking around outside my glasses where it's all blurry. You know, if all of a sudden your eye is like operating appropriately, then it's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah,
you can see more.
Right, you're not in a box.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to know what, like, because I'm doing, you know, mostly like large scale stuff. So I was really concerned about, yeah, like what are my are my compositions going to change? You know, because I'm seeing everything now without this extra box, you know,
Right.
that I've trained myself to look through and pass and not think
Sure.
about. But now I just have like no, you know, there's no disruption. There's no, like, there's nothing in the way. There's no barrier. There's nothing. And I think, yeah, like, I don't know, I might be just telling myself this, but I'm like, yeah, I think I do see things a little differently now. Like I see the big
Yeah.
picture a lot better, you know?
Sure.
So, I mean, maybe, you know, but yeah, that's a good point. That was part of the week-long adventure of like figuring out my new skills.
Super skills.
Super skills. I can see. But yeah, I'm 2020 right now. It's really weird. And I was -4 before. Pretty
Crazy.
fine.
That's yeah.
Yeah. Woohoo! Go LASIK. But yeah, I had friends of, you know, that tattooed too. That got it, and they were just like, just get it.
Sure.
Get over it. Gabe, just go ahead and get it.
And then as you get older, that you might have to go back to glasses, but it'll be a easier prescription.
Well, it's like laser hair removal too. Is the same idea. Like, because I hear the same rhetoric for that too. Like, you can't permanently change yourself ever. Like, your body is still decomposing.
Right.
And losing elasticity and losing, you know, all of our nice collagen, and our eyeballs are still just like little tools that we have. So yes, naturally your eyes will change as you get older. So at least it's slowing down my far away vision blindness. So
right.
I invested in some readers at Sam's Club. And I'm really excited about them. And I use them now that my eyes are still healing. It wasn't that long ago. It was pretty recent. So I use my reader probably towards the end of my session, and just to give my eyes a little break.
Sure.
Yeah, like I might wear them at the end of this painting just to kind of help ease them through. But
it's funny hearing tattooers complain about starting to wear glasses, and I'm like, yeah, you're talking to, you know, somebody that's worn glasses their whole life.
Whole life.
No sympathy.
Yeah, no sympathy, brother. I mean, think about all the cool readers they have nowadays. I know, I'm getting excited about them. I've got like a pack of 3 for like $20.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's just part of it's just how we age, you know, like it makes sense. So yeah.
It's amazing how long it takes to learn something so simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I think all tattooers should have readers, you know, to help their eyes, like the longevity of their eyes. You know?
I can't tell you how many people have heard say that, yes, you know, as soon as they put on the readers or whatever, like, oh my God, I see so much better now. And to your point, like if you had done that 5 years earlier, then, you know.
Yeah, like I think if anyone's having any eye fatigue whatsoever, or just want to see closer to their tattoo and more precise, don't get closer to it. It's still bloodborne pathogens. You know, I always see that. I see some guys like literally sticking their face in their client and like, whoa, lean back, put on these glasses.
Yeah.
They cost $5. Just put them on. Yeah, like there's no shame in putting on these readers right now, because you are a foot away, like you're an inch away from hepatitis possible. So just put on the readers. They'll be fine. And yeah, I don't know why I never did to begin with. You know, now that I'm like having to, it's like, oh, this is cool. Like I should have done this from the day one.
Well, anybody that's watching this, put them in the comments if you go out and get those glasses.
Yeah, please. if it changes your life, let us know. No, I'm not minding getting old. Not much. I go to physical therapy now. That's cool.
For your wrists or?
No, for my knee and my neck and my elbow.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, I broke my knee during my build out, and it had a hard time healing during COVID because I had surgery right before COVID hit in December.
Oh,
And then I went to a tattoo convention in Minnesota during, I think, what was that, January or February? I think it was early February. And it was like a week. Oh, no. So it was in January. Yeah, it was like surgery. And then I think it was like maybe a week, 2 weeks after surgery, I went and did that convention, and I just forced myself to walk,
oof.
and I just don't think I gave it like a right heel, and I don't think I got enough PT before the shutdown. So I'm just kind of like learning some other things because some muscles definitely weren't activated. So they're like electrocuting my muscles and then get to go work out. And, it's fun. It's adult.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's the little things, right?
I guess it just doesn't get any better either. That's the
It doesn't. It doesn't. Oof. Yeah. Oof.
It's not like all of a sudden your body's going to start getting stronger and better. It's just going to get older.
It just gets old. Well, actually,
harder.
This is it's going to get harder, but I don't know if this is for everybody, but I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life.
Well, it's for people that exercise more now than they did before. Feel like that.
Yes. And I was like that tattooer working, like 80 hours minimum a week and hunched over and not eating right, and the tattooer diet, and traveling is actually really bad for your digestive system. You can look it up yourself and figure out why. I don't want to talk about poop. But traveling does mess up your cycle a lot. And now that I'm like not doing it as much, I'm being a little bit more selective. Yeah, my diet is like 10 times better. I'm running, I'm yogaing, I'm doing all these things, and wow, I feel better for some reason.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, go figure. Oh, yeah. But I mean, still, it's like, yeah, it's like this is like our chance for like how we're gonna figure out how to be healthy for the rest of our lives,
Well, I figured it out, but then I stopped doing it. Now my back hurts.
Oh, yep. You gotta keep doing it. See, I stopped doing yoga, and then my neck literally felt like, it got stuck for like a whole week. Yeah, because I have some discs that are bulging, and that's from getting too close to your clients, guys.
Wait, what is?
I have like okay. So if your neck is like this, and then you go like this, then these discs will bulge out and in, and you'll lose the squishies in between your vertebrae. And this is like a thing that's happening to several of my friends right now. And I don't know, like, what are we doing, And I just have to blame tattooing for how much we're just hunched over all the time.
Sure.
So if yoga has really helped because it's just strengthening all the minor muscles around it so I can keep myself up.
Right. Yoga's great. It really is.
Oh God, yoga is really, yeah. If anyone dogs yoga, I'm like, obviously you haven't done yoga.
Yeah, we're doing it right,
or doing it right. And it's not all about meditation. It's not all about flexibility necessarily. It's also about strengthening your core. If your core is strong, then it can keep your body up and hold your body. And it's really non-impactful. Like you're not gonna hurt yourself as easy doing yoga than you would, like, say, working out. Like if I can't run because the weather is crap or something, I'll just focus more on the yoga, and I still feel like I got a really good workout.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this bird's finally coming together. Yay.
It's looking great.
Ah, thanks. Birds are fun. Let's see. Oh, here's a tip if you're doing birds. I see a lot of flat birds. Not fat, but flat. And I think people think of feathers as these like slick things that are attached to their skin and then stay down. But if you ever, did enough biology classes and have to dissect things bird feathers actually are like these nice little hooks. They come out of the skin and like, here's the flatness of the skin and they come out and then they have a poopiness to them. So they cluster. So it's almost like if you're like curling like hair or something in like a big wave, you have a big wave of hair. That's kind of like, it's like they stagger like that. Like they stagger in like these nice little chunks. And birds have like every animal has like, that's not hatched from an egg has like a natural muscle seam down the front of their bodies where their belly buttons and where, are. So imagine the breast of a bird having an internal seam going down, and it's always like going to be like a nice little tear with this, like a little tear shape going down their bellies. So I think of it as like sections like that. So you can see right here, 1 section, 2 section, 3 section. And I like to create like a natural shadow to show that little tough end, and that's where it's darkest at the bottom, and then lighter at the top because that's where your highlight will be. So I always go in, I kind of break the rule a little bit here, and I do go in with my dark first, so then I can kind of get that wet, dilute it, and then pull that dark up and create a natural highlight. And I'll do that right now. So
I'm going to shift over to a different device.
mm-hmm.
How much longer? You got another half hour? Or?
Oh, like maybe another half hour. I'll be done.
I'm just ordering that.
Mm-hmm. I lose all track of time when I do these things. So I'm like,
it's all good.
Oh yeah.
It's
Guy will come on, please.
Oh, you already started. You started a half hour ago.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait, what time is it over there? What time is it here? Oh yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, and I'll be almost done with this too. I'm just been like running around.
Yeah, so no. We're here to, from start to finish.
Yeah, right. And it's gonna like be finished real quick all of a sudden. So that's also another fun thing. I like painting this way because like I said earlier, like if you just need some gratification, I can get really stuck on some oil paintings and feel like absolute shit about myself because I haven't finished anything, and then the walk of despair happens where you're like, oh, I just can't finish anything. And I'm just assuming that people also do this. I do this to myself quite often. But when you're even doing a watercolor painting that's like intense and got a lot of detail like this, like all of a sudden, once you're done doing all the little tiny details, it's like, oh, like now you just have to make some swishes and you're done. And I do that while I tattoo as well, like my space tattoos, right? I have to like talk people through those when we start because there are so many little details to start. I'm basically doing a whole dot work sleeve of space, which can take some time, and then going in with color. And then sometimes if it's like a lot of, like say, if it's a lot of like crispy little planets, if it's a lot of like wormholes or black holes or something like that, it takes time and concentration. I'll do all those first. I'll get all the painful stuff out of the way. And then, the client then also has like a nice little something to look at, like, oh, some finished, cool, high density pieces of tattoo that's finished. So they're like, okay, I can do this. But then they get really the good present, which is, okay, today we're just going to get a 23 mag and we're going to do some background of some nebulas. And then the tattoo is like done after highlights. And then voila, it's like, it's self-gratification. It helps with you, it helps with your clients because all of this is stamina. A lot of painters that I've talked to or people that first start painting, they're like, oh, I don't know how you sit for so long. I don't know how you just like can go through a painting for hours and hours and hours. I can't like stay focused that long. Or I'm like, well, because I give myself little treats, you know, like if I was training a dog, you give him little treats, you know, if you're training, and I'm not comparing anyone to a dog, but um watercolor is definitely my little treat that I can give myself and know, oh, I can finish something. Okay, cool. You know, and it kind of gives you that 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 just reminding that you can win, I guess. And so then after this, I can hop on the oil painting and really kick ass on it.
Awesome. That's like the bite size is a strategy that people will use often to get through things. It's the
Oh yeah.
one of the common things about survival stories is that the people that, you know, there's a certain mentality that are like, ah, fuck it, this is hard. And then there's the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And oh, that makes sense. I mean, I know some, you know, some of my stories gave more than others, but I mean, I think that's one thing that they will say at my funeral is that she could survive.
just kept going.
She just kept going. Oh dear. Yep, that's true. At least we know that. At least we can do that. But man, this last year I've been like, I didn't stop. That's for sure. I caved. I totally went my little cave, right? But I didn't stop. I just did other things. Because that is one thing about grief. I know a lot of people have went through it this last couple of years. Either they lost someone during COVID because of COVID, or because of just the world and not being able to get to a doctor fast enough. Like my case, I lost someone because we couldn't find a surgeon fast enough. We couldn't, you know, like we just couldn't. It was just like this upward battle of hell. And you know, like you just have to like keep fucking going. And if you do other things that, you know, bring you joy, sometimes you can, I think I got like a little addicted to just like staring at birds in my backyard. Like I went crazy with birdhouses.
Nice.
Yeah. And just
Grief
like making my home comfy.
Yeah, it's tough when you know, life is, you know, short and temporary. Yeah, I guess not that I have, you know, any wise words or anything, but you know, often you know, we'll try to also, like I said earlier, like really every day try to live it like, you know, the bad news could come tomorrow. Not only for ourselves, but you know, for the people that aren't here.
Yes. Oh,
You
that's
know,
a good, yeah. That's a good one. You know, I had to deal with a lot of depression versus selfishness. That was my big thing. Because of course I was helping my buddy out the whole time, and my energy was towards her. Like everyone else in my life just was gone, you know.
right.
And afterwards I was like, man, I was really quite selfish, just like not contacting my father enough, you know, or but I mean, everyone knew what was happening, but still, like, you have to kind of keep going, at least for the people that you affect, you know, in day-to-day life, you know.
Sure.
And this is a weird one. I don't even think of, like, if you are like an artist, then people do follow you too. I didn't even think of this, but my friend Marissa sent me and a couple other girls a note that was like, hey, like, don't forget that people follow you. You influence people. Like, don't forget that, because I wasn't, you know, active for quite some time.
Sure.
And I was like, well, yeah, but I'm like a shit show right now. You know, she was like, so you still, like, people are still like looking forward to being brought joy by something that you might post or something that you might say, or like there's a lot of people that need a lot of guidance, and sometimes, they just look to, people on Instagram, or, and sometimes I mean, I for sure lost sight of that. I would never think, even gave a damn, to be honest. But, that kind of shook me up a little bit too. Where I was like, okay, that gives me a reason to get off my ass and start making
Well,
some more art, more content, I guess.
sure.
But just
I mean,
for just that.
tattooers are, shamanic,
Mhm.
that's you can't argue it. Like, I mean, people may or may not manipulate the effect, or even be aware of it, but you are marking somebody's body for the rest of their lives. That's all
Mhm.
there is to it. Like, they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives, whether you're an asshole, whether you were awesome, whether you gave them a bit of sage-like advice, or whether you told them
Mhm.
that what doesn't kill them makes you stronger, or whatever bullshit. Like, but one way or another, they're going to remember that.
Yep. No, they will. So it's like we have to keep ourselves in check with that responsibility. I feel like we do have it's a responsibility and also a privilege
Mhm.
to be able to affect people that way, and with great responsibility, or with great power
With
comes
great
great
power.
yeah, thank you. I was like, wait, I fucked that up. But it's true, and I don't know, it's never held more power than recently, for
Mm.
sure, especially for me, just because I had gone absent and I did see the effect. Like, I had several people ask me if I straight up died,
Oh shit.
and I was like, yeah, and I was like, no, I'm fine, I'm still here, I'm just having some personal
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And everyone was, and I think, and I never have personal time. So that was like, I think everyone understood like something's happening, and that was
Sure.
cool. That was very cool of them. Um, but man, like I mean, that got me through though, is just knowing that at least my friends and the people who follow me. I mean, sometimes I have people tell me that they follow me, and they literally get on their phone every morning with them and their kid, and she likes to look at my art, and her kid likes to look at
Cool.
my kittens and my pandas that I post.
Ah,
And I was
awesome.
like, oh, that's awesome. She was like, that was literally our joy for 5 months. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. I'll do it then.
That's
Okay.
why you're posting
Yeah.
the kids.
That's why I post so many kittens and so many red pandas. Or stupid little shots of my outfits or something. Oh my God. I had so many women hit me up and say like that, gave them um like some more feminine power, seeing that a dork like me is like, no, I like this stuff too, it's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were like, never, don't stop posting that, it makes us feel good, because I'm like, I like representing the dork crew,
Yeah. Yeah.
excellent nerd crew. Yeah.
I've got the well, I prefer geek. I got geek on my knuckles. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. I'm
But
just a forever nerd.
awesome.
Um, so yeah, like I think everyone influences everyone in their own way. And it's kind of like that mentality, just don't be a jerk, because you're gonna influence somebody along the way. And
Oh, tremendous! Like, I can't even count how many tattooers I've watched gain influence and say stupid shit, and it's like, wait, you
oh, I
realize you have
know.
200,000 followers, or
I
you
know.
know,
They're not responsible.
and
It's crazy.
it's I mean, at this point, it's just fucking comical, because it happens. Like, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things that's one of the reasons why I seeked out that circle, or I
Hmm.
didn't seek out the circle. It's one of the reasons why I recognized it when I found it. Um, but it's like, yeah, I mean, again, it's just, some people, in the tattoo world, it's real easy to have influence and voice that's greater than your maturity level.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm very careful with, I mean, I try to be careful with what I say. Like I do try to keep it pretty flat, pretty cut dry. Like, this is who I am. This is the art that I do. Please judge me based off that. But when, I do, someone thanked me once for using my podium or my platform, and I didn't even realize I had one.
Mhm.
And because I have so many friends that do have like hundreds of thousands of followers, and they're just posting and posting all kinds of crazy shit. And I just never thought about like, oh,
Sure.
like, yeah, like, but you know, I'm a little ex-punk rock chick. I'm like, wait, I have a platform? What?
Mhm.
But I feel like it's like something that should at all costs not be abused. And at all costs should be taken with great responsibility. Um, because I you know, there's certain subjects that I don't know everything on, and I'm not like refreshed enough on, you know, stuff. And you know, I don't want to be the causer of arguments, you know. I like to be the inspire I like to inspire, you know.
I do.
And I feel, yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of tatters that are you know, they're making some key points there that I'm like, I don't know. Okay, you know, whatever. See how it goes. And they just say whatever they want.
Yeah. I took kind of Baxter's cue in the beginning and was like, I kind of married my politics to my business, and it worked exceptionally well.
Mm,
Not for like I made some, I pissed off a fair amount of people, but
mhm.
in the end, I'd be like, oh yeah, well you could talk fucking, right wing politics all you want to, and call me a communist, but I'm an international businessman, motherfucker, and I'm on the way up. See you at the top, fucker. And I got to the point where people, I had a guy show up on Christmas Eve with guns so I could take them away. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
man,
God.
I don't even, like, I don't even give a shit about your guns. But if there's anything that's going to convince me you shouldn't have them, it's if you come up to my shop on Christmas Eve looking for me. I'm pretty sure you
Damn.
shouldn't have any.
I'm
And
pretty sure
I
that,
mean,
yeah.
or at least I don't want you to have any. Maybe you have a right, but that's kind of
Jeez.
my disposition. And that was actually the second time that year that somewhat anonymous people were threatening me,
Mhm.
but it's just a part of tattoo now is getting millions of people, and off the map is generating significant amount of energies, and that means
Sure
that
do.
you know you, you,
It's,
you got
well,
to
you
be
can't
careful
deny
what
when
you say to
something's
how many
working.
people.
Yep, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I like that. Nick always has good things to say. I guess with mine, like, yeah, I'm kind of my shop is eco-friendly. So like our whole setup is compostable and biodegradable,
Awesome.
and I follow that. Like my beliefs are actually just real. Like I do have a lot of political beliefs, and I have a lot of opinions on all kinds of things. Um but like my core beliefs and how I think things should be, like I've been pretty proud about, you know, putting my foot down and to making the standards of my shop the way I want it to be, and how we function and how we treat our clients and all that. Because I've had some people be like, well, you know, like I don't want to use that. And I'm like, well, you don't have to, but also you are working at this shop and you did read the website of what we represent. So
Right.
you probably should. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, and also don't make me into a hypocrite if someone comes here thinking that you're going to be using something. So it's about, you know, just how you word it to people, I think.
Right.
But also it's like, no, you walked in here, you chose this.
Right.
Um, and so, you know, I haven't had any death threats, thankfully, but I have been called lots of names, surprisingly enough,
Mm.
about, you know, just my system and how I've like developed it. And it's, I mean, it's not even that hard, but for some reason it's just, yeah, I get flack, you know, which is bizarre. And you're going to get flack no matter what. I think someone's going to be dissatisfied with you.
Yeah, it is amazing how you'd think it'd be real simple to be able to like show up on time, show your customers an awesome time, leave
Right?
them with an amazing experience, get paid well, split the dough properly, and fucking have a great day. Like every
Have a
day.
great day. Every day. Every day.
Yeah, somehow it gets pretty
Mhm.
complicated pretty quick. Yeah.
Pretty quick. Yeah. And you know, it's a lot of just, it's a lot of bullshit sometimes. And one of the why I choose time to stress is because I realized that if I just literally take some time to just mull over something, I usually just don't, I'm really not that mad. Like I might be
Right.
mad at something and I'll just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put that on my list of things that I'm mad at. And I have a little list on my at my station. That it's my meeting list, like so we have a meeting
Uh-huh.
once a month and I just write it down when I think about it. And then by when it comes to time where I really want to sit down and think about it, I'm like, oh wow, I really don't care about that. Okay, cool. On to the next. Or I think about a
Right.
better way of approaching the subject, So you're a shop owner out there, it's really easy to get pissed off, especially because everything's stressful. So like, I don't know if anyone's like me, but I usually get really just frustrated by the end of the day. Because I'm just like too many interactions, too many things to
Sure.
juggle, I just feel frustrated. So if you're feeling that, try just making a list of everything that you want to talk about, especially if you find yourself just like lashing out on your staff. Because I've worked for people like that and it was never cool. You know, those people just lose it. I'm like, I get it. It's hard being an artist and a shop owner and all those things, but the lashing out never helps anything. Like, actually, at this last meeting, I was like, we had, every single meeting, I always say like a positive, and this last one, I was like, and none of us are explosive, and that is amazing. I
Nice.
want to applaud everyone for not having an explosive anger response
Uh-huh.
because it's been a hard month and all of us took it in stride. And that's amazing.
Awesome.
And yeah, so um it really helps just kind of keep me chill throughout the day because you gotta stay chill for your clients. They're already there having a panic attack, you
Right.
know. They're about to do something permanent with a stranger and they don't want to break your rules. They don't know where to sit. They don't know what to do with their hands. They don't know what to do. So if you're stressed out about your coworker's problem or something, they don't want to hear it. They don't even care.
Usually they want to know about how long it'll take.
Yeah, how
Is this
long is
is
this
this
gonna
over yet?
take? Is this over? Oh, are we done
Uh,
now? Okay.
what
Yeah.
percentage are you done?
Yeah. So you got to keep your chill while you're,
But
managing.
yeah, I didn't mean. I mean, I guess I was just making some jokes. But to your point, um, you know, yeah, it's very important the experience that they're having. And if you just flippantly are like, my fucking brother sucks, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
All of a
you're
sudden
like,
it's like, you already got over it because it's just your brother and what do you care? But
yeah.
they're holding that with them for the next half hour, which sets the mood for
Hmm.
things. And there's so many times where you know it's weird, like watching tattooers ride that line between like self-depreciation and like inserting doubt. Sometimes I'm
Hmm.
like, oh man, like just
Yeah.
don't say disparaging things about yourself in front of your client.
Yeah. I know.
Uh,
I work next to someone that I would just go shh,
uh-huh.
like more than once a day,
Right.
and they're like, "Thanks, Renee." And I'm like, "Yeah, what the hell, man? Just quit." God,
Yeah.
I think
It
yeah,
becomes
and it
habit with other
becomes.
people.
It
Yep.
does. Yeah, it's
I'm sure that
habitual and lack of therapy too. Lack of
exactly. I was
therapy.
going to say, I'm sure the psychologists are like, well, you have enough negative thoughts and you expose it, say them out loud enough. That's, you know, some sort of
Hmm.
acknowledgement of what's going on the inside. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but I mean, I always wonder, especially like during the dark days, I was like, should I just cancel today? I'm being a bit of a excuse me. I like it in the British sense.
I was going to say, excuse your British.
Yeah,
I'm going
excuse
to get
me.
canceled
Yeah.
now.
But we said it in the British way.
Right.
um and I feel like I just need to remove myself, but then I, have my little mantras and I take a second and I go, what am I doing right now? I am doing flowers. These flowers are amazing and this is really fun. So I should quit it. And then I get back to it, or I'll send people out and like take a walk around the block before you come back in here. And, like I see him come in, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
like I can tell you've been fighting with your girlfriend. take a walk around the block, and then come back in here, go grab a coffee, you know?
Yeah.
And it seems to work. And they come back and they're like, okay, thanks, I needed that, you know?
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, you just don't want to bring that stuff into your work environment if you can help it.
Yeah. I mean, and it's almost, I would almost just stop the sentence before you could help it, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're making $150, if you're billing $100 to $150 an hour,
Ugh, yeah.
again, it's kind of, you know, I mean, and I guess like I've had bad days. Like I don't deal with, I mean, I don't deal with tattoos. I don't put tattoos on people, but that's a bit, again, but part of it's like, it's almost even more important. Like, leave that shit at the door. Like you're tattooing on somebody, like, and it's tough to do. And it's very easy to be like, and I, you know, I have to accept it, but so many people are like, well, you know, they're artists, you know, and it's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't even, like, there's so many different types of artists,
There's so
you
many
know, and so many different
types of
temperaments.
artists. Right.
And you know, I like to think, like, I would hope that the artists that would be working at, you know, a studio that I would be, you know, representing would have the professionalism to leave any shit that they need to at the door before they walk through and they start billing a real professional rate. You know, if you're a lawyer, you know, who's charging $250 an hour, who's bitching about his kid, or, you know, or whatever it might be, like, it wouldn't be acceptable. And you know, and again, tattooers is also, there's a wide range. There's tattooers that don't give a fuck all, and there's tattooers that want to be professional. And
oh man, I had one of my Florida buddies come and guest, and if he's listening, he knows who he is because we've talked about it. But for example, yeah, he was definitely upset, and he definitely threw the F-bomb out there a lot, and definitely had the energy of someone that was frustrated and angry. And this client was paying, I mean, outrageous. And I had to talk to him like, one, this is Oklahoma, he is calm it down. Two, no one cares. And he was like, but I'm talking to you. I'm like, yeah, you're talking to me, but everyone can hear you. You know, like everyone is going through this trauma with you. You know, like we don't need to share your trauma. Like, stop it. You know, and that a lot of people haven't even heard of trauma sharing, you know, but in a sense that is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I haven't heard the term specifically, but yeah, bringing other people through the, you know, ride of your fucking shit show is not anything that needs to be happening in the middle of a tattoo shop. Hey, can you point your camera down a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, reframe. There we go. Cool. Yeah, perfect. Oh yeah, that's way better.
You got it? Okay, good.
Yeah. I should have said something a while ago. Yeah.
I'm moving over. There you go. I didn't even realize it. See, I need to put my readers on so I can back up.
Sometimes if you have the TV, the Apple TV or the Roku TV hooked up to the stream, you could kind of see it there when you have the multiple.
Oh no, I have it on my laptop, but I haven't even looked up. Yeah. Like, yeah, look, there I am. Now
you're zoning out. It looks great. This is looking pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's looking real nice.
Thanks. Another bird for the collection. I wanted to do like a summary type thing because I mean it's summer, it's hot as hell.
Which is great to get on recording from start to finish too.
Oh yeah, I know, right? And
so how much do you sell pieces like this for?
Honestly, I hardly sell originals.
Honestly, every time I ask you anything, I'll be asking for an honest answer.
Honestly, I usually don't sell originals until a little bit later. I like to make sure that I've gotten a really good clean runs of prints going, but I just sell my prints for $25.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then plus shipping if you want to ship it out, of course. And yeah, they're nice because they're simple and they're clear, and I just try to, just bring little happy birds into the mix. This one, yeah, I'll try to get this one probably scanned and ready to go because I see the time and I'm like, yeah, definitely tomorrow. And we finish off. Okay, we finished off our little feeties. Some shadow. And then I think we're just going to finish up with that little bug.
Best for
And
last.
then,
Dessert.
yeah, right. And I do the Bob Ross thing. Do you remember what he would do at like the end of every painting? Do like a big scary like foreground tree. And I
Nice.
kind of do that too.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a cool little composition there. I like the
Oh,
you know, the open space really makes the bird pop out.
yes. So here I'm going to do some real heavy black. Maybe I'll mix in a little magenta and a little brown in my black, just to kind of give it intensity, but a little bit more natural than a jet black. And then I have these little podlets that I wanted to do. Pods are fun. And then intense foreground. Boop, boop, boop. And so it kind of gives a little bit more dimension to have some nice, intense, big silhouettes of something or something in the foreground that's just like dramatic and in your face there. And so it really makes the bird feel like it's in an environment instead of like the bird is on top of the environment. Oh, and I love taping everything. I know some people are like, oh, I don't like doing that, but I like the freedom of just going off the page. And I feel myself doing that more naturally when the tape is there. I don't know why, and it keeps me well framed in as well. And that's one thing I do hate. Artists, okay, so part of my gallery is like an artist gallery of tattooers. And I noticed one thing that tattooers versus fine artists and what we do different. And it's, you can tell like a little bit of schooling, you can tell a little bit of this, but make your art frameable if you want to. It just makes things easier on the person who's buying your art. Like, I'm all about like making it a little easier. Like I want my person to frame their stuff and have it in their house. And right now I have a whole box of prints that I've collected over the years and original pieces over the years that are just sitting in a box because I have to wait to go frame them. And some of them I can frame myself. Some of them I have to get them professionally framed because they're weird sizes. And so that's just a hint. If you really want to sell art that's easy and it's attainable and have it be shown, make it easy for people to show it or sell it framed. I've been doing that a little bit here in the gallery. I've just been like I'm a really good huntress when it comes to finding cheap frames. And oh yeah, and I just redo them, I remake them. I learned how to make frames in school, but it takes a bit. So if I can find something that already at least has the glass in it, then I feel like I found treasure.
Yeah, cool. Make it like a bell shed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can take putty, you can make more filigrees, you can, find accent pieces. Like I'm a giant hack rat with cool stuff. Because I'll find little embellishments and just save them. I'm like, ooh, I can attach that to a frame later. And if you want a frame that looks like it's $1 million, that's how you do that. I should have a whole crafting. I thought about this for a lot, especially during the build out. Like, man, I wish I had someone like filming me do stuff because then I could have a whole YouTube series of like DIY and crafts and just building. Like, this is how you build stuff when you're 5'5".
So it's not too late to start for the next task.
Yeah. I know. I thought about
you
it.
have the cameras. Do you have the cameras? Or?
I need a crew or I need someone because
Yeah.
the last thing that you want to do while you're building is set up a camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're like, you have the energy, you just like get into it and do it, And I got to with a couple things, but they're all real simple. Like I'd like to teach people how to like that are small, like me. I'm small framed. So I would like to teach people with small frames how to correctly like use a power drill and how to correctly like do something by yourself that's pretty big, you know,
Yeah,
like
awesome.
drywall or
Using
'cause
leverage.
yeah, using leverage, using like little tricks. Cause I mean, I had to do a lot of drywall by myself, and there's definitely little tricks to that I learned off of YouTube.
I think that would be awesome to do handy shop tips.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, there's artists that are still trying to make their own. I can teach them how to make their own frame, teach them how to, you know, and there's so many things out there that are so much cheaper if you just do it yourself, you know. And I'm a penny pincher. I was just raised that way, so like especially nowadays, like any kind of thing you can save money on without like losing the quality is worth it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, she's pretty much done, but she's not. I'm gonna fiddle with her probably for like a little bit more. And this is
Cool.
another thing I do when I always finish something. I get up, I walk around, I come back before I say, yeah, it's done.
Uh-huh. Sure.
So I won't put you guys through that hell.
Cool. But if you do take video, like you can record
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
instead of zooming, just record
Yeah,
and remember to keep it sideways. But then
yeah.
yeah, that'd be fun if you
Okay.
could. And the same and the video that you did for the invitation was great.
Oh,
Uh,
thanks.
and actually, your timeness and your promptness was unparalleled. My ability to then sit on it for 2 fucking weeks and then upload it like the day before was pathetic. But if you want to do a generic
That's okay.
invitation that says, "Hey, you know, I'm Renee. I'm doing some paint nights. You know, check the schedule for the next upcoming one."
Uh-huh.
Then we could use that as the intro video for any of the future. We could use that
Oh yeah.
as a general invitation.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds good. I like that. I can
And
do
then we
that.
could mix that with some of this because this painting came from start to finish. I don't know. Did you finish any of the other paintings that we did on these? Or
No, all the other ones were
yeah,
oil. So I think
yeah,
I
yeah,
like, okay, we got done with layer 62.
yeah, exactly. We'll have another 60 to go, but
Yeah, we have another 60 to go. And I have some of those. I do have some time lapse
oh yeah,
ones
cool,
that
yeah,
I can
perfect,
send you. I
yeah,
should probably just put on the Reinventing the Tattoo app as well.
yeah. We should
Um,
definitely be uploading to people. Will dig it, and that's how we'll get more interest in these and get the replays because this is great. People listen to this from start to finish. I'm sure.
oh yeah, that'd be great. Especially, yeah. Oh, I like that. And watercolor, I can do that. Oil takes me forever. But
Yeah, I
watercolor,
mean,
I can do.
the oils have been fine. Have been awesome too. I'm
Oh,
just
good.
thinking for the video or for like a teaser. You know, this will
Mm-hmm.
come out. It's very convenient. We could, you know, mix your invitation in with a time lapse of this in and out. You know, with maybe if we had a 60-minute invitation,
Oh,
um,
okay.
we could use a lot of this footage.
Oh, great. No, I love that. I'll do that. No problem. I'm getting much more used to it. I think it's just me on camera that I'm like real weird about.
Well,
Um,
it's fucking
but
weird.
it's fucking weird. Yeah, I'm like, wait, this is being archived? Oh God. Uh, like
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
people watch this for years to come.
for years to come, we'll look at that piece of spinach that was possibly in my teeth, or uh,
Oh,
yeah.
tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds good. So I hope everyone learned some stuff. I hope everyone learned a little bit of tricks here and there just by watching me do some watercolors. If anyone has any questions, you can still put them in the comments section and I can try to answer them for next time.
Yeah. Actually, and if
'Cause
people learn some stuff, they could drop that shit down in the comments too.
oh yes, yeah. Let me know what you learned, because I'll maybe like reapproach it or approach it in a different way. Because you know, after you do something for a really long time, you kind of forget what is like common knowledge, what is not. And I just kind of ramble, but like, oh, maybe this is a cool thing to talk about. But if there's anything particular that surprised you, let me know, and that would be really cool. I like teaching, and I like painting with other people, even though it's digitally now. It's still something better than nothing.
Absolutely. Maybe we next time we could we'll set up another guest so we could maybe do a little split screen.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I've been trying to get some painters here, but man, oh man.
Well, if
Man, oh
maybe like I said, if we could find somebody that wants to zoom in, we could do a split screen, and that opens up our possibilities for painting partners tremendously.
Exactly. Yes. And anyone out of state, you know, I always say join me on when I talk about on my Instagram, and I literally mean join me. Um, and I know a lot of people get a lot of anxieties, you know, being filmed painting, but I want everyone to know that's not really what it's about. It's about just doing something with another artist. You know, no one's really judging you based off of your overall skill. Like, of course, please have some familiarity with painting or drawing or some kind of craft. But it's not like a race. It's not any kind of judgment on whether your piece is good or not. We are literally just here to be here and to create and to play. Um, Even if I messed up my own painting right now, I'd be like, oh, let me teach you how to fix this weird little happy accident.
Hmm.
That and that's what it's all about, is that we're learning and discovering. Painting can be very serious, but can also be very fun and explorative, and we're here to sculpt our minds into doing different things. So yeah, I always love people to join, because you know, I don't know everything, but I usually know enough to get people through a painting and, you know, leave themselves like feeling satisfied and like they've learned something. So if that's what the Lord gave me, then let me share it, and it'll be fun.
Awesome. Hey, so let's give everybody your contact info, and
Yes,
then
yes.
I'll click the button.
You can find me on Instagram at reneelittletattoos.com, or my studio website at goldfanggallery.com. And if you'd like to contact me directly, you can do so by going to Renee Little Tattoos on Gmail. And here's my card. He has all that information on there. The ReneeLittleTattoos.com. It'll just send you to Goldfang. I've kind of downsized quite a bit for my sanity. So yeah, check that out if you have any questions directly. If not, put in the comments so Gabe can get to them and relay them to me. And yeah, pretty easy peasy. But I do love questions. I do love all those things. So send away.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again. I'm going to click all the buttons and eagerly